From Dietz Stadium in Kingston, New York, it's the Time Warner Cable Sports High School Football Game of the Week. Tonight, two teams battle for a trip to the state title game. It's the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Football Class A semifinals as Section 1's Indians of Nyack take on Section 2's Spartans of Burnt Hills, Ballston Lake. And we welcome you here to Kingston, along with James Allen, Robert Lee. Please, you could join us on a very cold Friday night here in mid-November down in the Hudson Valley. And James, tonight's matchup features Burnt Hills, Ballston Lake, which really rolled through Section 2 play this year, winning their games by almost 40 points per game. They take on a Nyack team, very physical, love to run the ball. They are a one-dimensional offense. They've only attempted 44 passes in 11 games this season.
Well, they really do, and you know, Robert, what I really, when you look at this matchup, you say Anthony Davis, that's the guy for Nyack they have to stop. And, you know, you look at Burnt Hills and their defense and what they're able to do time and time again. Last week against Curtis Duke, who's going to Penn State from Indian River, they shut him down pretty much. They're going to have to do the same against Anthony Davis today.
Tonight's pregame report is sponsored by Capital Communications Federal Credit Union. No ATM fees with young adult checking accounts. Call, click, or come on in today for details. Capital Communications Federal Credit Union. Together, we can. Take a look at how these teams got here. Nyack with a win over Cornwall. Indian River fell to Burnt Hills last week. On the other side, Sweet Home, the #1 team in the state, will take on Corning West in Rochester for a trip to the Carrier Dome next week. Right now, we're going to welcome in the third member of our broadcast team, send it down to the sidelines, and Marissa Jacks.
Hey, Robert, this is really a big deal for Burnt Hills. This is their first time to a state semifinal. But if you go back to the beginning of the season, I think anybody who followed Section 2 football knew that Burnt Hills could make it this far. But for Nyack, really a different story. They were the underdogs in their own Section 1 playoffs out of a very good Section 1 program there. They had to beat a lot of really good teams to get to this point, but they do have 2 state titles under their belt. John Castellano, their head coach, very experienced at this point, so we're going to have to see if that makes a difference tonight, guys.
Marissa, thank you, and we will take a break. When we come back, a trip to the Carrier Dome on the line. Burnt Hills, Ballston Lake takes on Nyack for the Section 2, or for the Class A trip to the Carrier Dome right after this on Time Warner Cable Sports. The 11-0 Burnt Hills, Ballston Lake set to take on 10-1 Nyack for a trip to the Dome. Tonight's broadcast is sponsored by Terry Chrysler Jeep and Morris Ford and Mercury, Route 50, Burnt Hills. Congrats to the Burnt Hills varsity football team on an outstanding season. Robert Lee, James Allen back with you. The Spartan mascot ready to go. Section 1 and Section 2 square off here tonight. James, you see the scene here in Kingston. Tell us quickly some of your keys to the game.
Well, for Nyack, obviously, what we talked about in the open, Anthony Davis is their senior fullback. He's got 1,202 yards, 17 touchdowns. He's the focal point, you know, good or bad. They're going to go to him when they're ahead. They're going to go to him when they need big yards. And then you look at Burnt Hills, the guy who's really been the focal point of their offense all year is Paul Layton, the senior quarterback. Had an outstanding game last week in the regional at Watertown against Indian River. 189 yards rushing, 118 yards passing, combined 4 touchdowns. He has thrown for 12 touchdowns. He has rushed for 19. He has 1,000 yards in each of those regards. He is the top offensive player in this game, either side of the ledger. And really, I think a lot of things are going to be decided, Robert, in the first quarter in terms of tempo and how things are decided at the line of scrimmage. Nyack is a very physical team, and Burnt Hills likes to play and bang as well. We'll see how things turn out.
Stanley Pierre-Louis to kick it away to Tyler Paluba and Eric Vium. Kick bounces at the 15, takes a bounce to the far side, taken at the 5. Vium swallowed under at the 16-yard line where Burnt Hills will start 1st and 10.
Starting offense for the Spartans of Burnt Hills. Paul Layton, senior quarterback, 3-year starter. Tyler Paluba, Eric Vium, Nick Henderson in the backfield. Keaton Flint, the leading receiver. Craig Page, who had a receiving touchdown last week on the offensive line. Kyle Jones, Connor Hancock, Chris Van Alstyne, John Akers, and Kyle Sharon.
1st and 10 for the Spartans, who run a very efficient offense that averaged better than 44 points a game this season. Layton out of the shotgun on 1st down, takes the snap, back to pass, throws far side. It is caught by Keaton Flint out past the 20 to the 24-yard line, close to a first down.
Defense for the Indians of Nyack at 10-1. Matt Mancini and Terrence Beatty, those are the two guys you have to watch out for, the defensive ends. They've been the leaders. Davis also very good, the fullback, who's one of the outstanding defensive linemen. And another guy to keep an eye on, Dominic Leonard in the secondary, one of the top players for Nyack.
Gain of 9 on first down. Layton under center this time. Hands it off up the middle. And Vium has a first down past the 25 to the 28.
Vium, remember, for those listener or viewers that saw last year in the Super Bowl against Lansingburg when they wound up losing 28-25, he had a couple of touchdown runs, long ones. Outstanding fullback who's done a great job throughout his career for the Spartans. He gets up the first down of this semifinal.
Paul Layton, senior quarterback, 6'1", 210 pounds, under center. Sends Paluba in motion, fakes the handoff, back to pass, has time, throws far side. It is intercepted by Nyack. As the pass was off the mark for his receiver, it's spotted at the 43-yard line.
Underthrown ball. And Dominic Leonard, the guy we talked about, gets the interception. He had a wide open receiver, but Layton just had it underthrown. You can see there. He airs it out, but he just didn't get enough on the ball as he tried to throw to Nick Henderson out of the flat. And the first big turnover of this contest goes in favor of the Indians.
So Nyack, with their primarily rushing ground game, rushing offense, will bring it up 1st and 10 from the 43. Quarterback Raymond Nichols, a junior, 6'3", 180 pounds. Hands it off Davis. Hit at the line. No, Nichols keeps to the right and takes it to the 35-yard line. A good pickup on first down.
Quarterback, as you alluded to, Raymond Nichols, only 44 pass attempts. Leonard, Johnson, and Davis, the backfield with Mancini, Pollard, Nagola, Monahan, Deradisi, Beatty, and Dragon on the offensive line.
Good pickup for Nyack on first down, a gain of 8. As we said, only averaging 4 pass attempts a game. So look for the run. They will do so here with the fullback up the middle, and he is close to a first down. Looks to be right at the sticks.
Fine defensive unit for Burnt Hills. Jacob Myers and Zach Moore to the defensive ends. Crowley, Matatroso, Schwann, Hadcock, Van Alstyne, Russell, Sellers, McKenna, and Paluba. Tyler Paluba very active in the secondary as well. Had 7 interceptions last year and had a very good senior or junior year this year as well in the secondary.
They will measure for the first down. And it is enough for a Nyack first down. So Nyack intercepted the ball on Burnt Hill's first possession. Immediately a momentum change. Now they've picked up a first down in 2 plays. They'll have it 1st and 10 from the 33. See Nichols' numbers there, and that's not one game. That's an entire season's worth of passing. But it's worked, obviously, for Nyack. They are 10-1. They are the Section 1 champions. Handoff on the misdirection to Dominic Leonard. Another good pickup inside the 30 to the 28.
This is an offense that Burnt Hills is quite familiar with because basically until they went to more of a spread with Paul Layton, this is an offense that Burnt Hills likes to run. A lot of wing T action, misdirection, handoffs. It should be something their defense, from a scheme standpoint, can deal with. It's just a matter of how you match up with their offensive line and Burnt Hills' defensive line, how they match.
Handoff Davis, picking his way forward. Davis inside the 15. Breaking tackles to the 10-5. Touchdown. Touchdown, Anthony Davis. Nyack takes the lead, 6-0.
The strength of the 5'7", 200-pound Anthony Davis is shown there. His 18th rushing touchdown of the year. He breaks a tackle. Keaton Flint had him at about the 15-yard line, just broke free down the sideline, and you hear the roar from the Nyack crowd. The Indians very easily could have been out of the Section 1 playoffs in the Super Bowl. They rallied to beat Ossining. Then they rallied last week to beat Cornwall to get to this point. And they have the early lead here in the semifinals.
Stanley Pierre-Louis on for the extra point. Kick is up. Kick is good. With 9:29 left to go, first quarter. Nyack 7 and Burnt Hills nothing.
Belly play inside to the fullback. It's a signature play in their offense, and you see the broken tackle there. And Davis takes it in the end zone, follows his blocks well, breaks to the outside. You see the tackling attempt there. Actually, it was Paluba. I said it was Keaton Flynn. It was Paluba who made the tackling attempt and just got dragged for about 5 yards. As you see the power of the 5'7", 200-pound back. He gets behind his blocks and gets the pater.
So Nyack takes the early lead. We remember last year when Lansingburg played Ossining here in the Class A semifinals. Ossining marched right down the field and scored. Lansingburg ended up blowing them out. Burnt Hills will have to try to bounce back.
Well, this is something that, for the most part, Burnt Hills hasn't faced a lot of adversity through the year. They had most of the leads very early this season, but then they did face adversity in the semifinals against Troy. And actually, in that game, Robert, they were tied at halftime 14-14 and was very close throughout that game. So that gives them a little bit of a backdrop. Obviously, this is a little higher stakes. We'll see how the Spartans respond.
Here, Louis, the kick, bounces at the 15, gets past Vium. Paluba takes it at the 5. Big block by Vium as Paluba takes it up the middle to the 19-yard line. And Burnt Hills, Boston Lake will have their second offensive possession.
And last week against Indian River, they really didn't throw the ball all that much early on. They went with a lot of their stretch plays, tried to get to the outside with their running game. Let's see if Matt Shell and the Burnt Hills offense goes back to that on this particular series. Try to establish that running game and then go to the pass.
See the numbers for Layton. Outstanding touchdown to interception ratio. 12 TDs to 3 picks coming into the game. Was intercepted on the first series for the Spartans. Layton pitches. Fumbling the ball out of bounds at the 24-yard line was Brandon Beatty.
That's not a good sign. Fortunately for Brandon Beatty, that was along the sideline. He just let the ball go out of bounds. Option play to the left side. Layton last week in the game against Indian River did not even attempt a rushing play until about 2 minutes to go in that first quarter, and then he went nuts for 189 yards. So far tonight, he has not attempted a rush, but he does have 1,013 and 19 touchdowns on the year.
So a dual threat who can run and pass the ball. And Humes hit hard at the line for a loss. Anthony Davis.
And you see that ability that he has with the strong leg drive that he had in the running game. Well, now he's a defensive lineman, and it's 5'7", 200 pounds. He's just able to beat the block easily and come over. And when you have a guy that small that plays on the defensive line, he's going to have a speed advantage, and he also has a leverage advantage because he's lower to the ground. And you saw there that Anthony Davis knows how to play the defensive line and gets a big play there for a loss of about a half yard.
And it'll set up a third down for the Spartans. Pitch right, following his blockers, but coming up well short of the first down. At the 27-yard line, Burnt Hills Boston Lake will be forced to punt. Nick Henderson.
That play looked like it had potential initially as they nice fake of the handoff there, but they were able to string that out, and the pursuit gets there. And the Spartans' offense so far not up to the normal standards as Nyack forces a punt after the interception of the first series. And Paul Layton handles the duties for the Spartans. Definitely the area's best in this regard.
Snap back to Layton. Wobbly kick. Bounces at the 45. Takes a good Burnt Hills bounce to the 31-yard line, but it hit a Burnt Hills player, so it'll be spotted right at about the 43. Don't forget, the winner of this game heads to the Carrier Dome next weekend for the state championship game. 4 tickets, 1-888-DOME-TICKS, just $10 a day. Class D, C, and A. This class is Class A on Saturday, then Class AA and Class B on Sunday, November the 30th at the Dome, the home of the New York State Public High School Athletic Association football championships in Syracuse.
I'll give you my cell phone. You can get me some tickets. Appreciate that.
So Nyack with worse field position here after starting in Burnt Hills territory on their first possession. They still have relatively good field position, though, from about the 44-yard line.
Waiting for a football from Nyack. Now we got it.
So you see quarterback Raymond Nichols get the sign in from his coach John Castellano. Nyack ranked 3rd in the state. Burnt Hills, Boston Lake ranked 2nd. For a trip to the Dome next Saturday night, 5 o'clock start in Syracuse. 7-0 Nyack with the lead. In motion Leonard. They pitch it to him. He strings it out to the right, turns the corner 45, and wrapped up from behind at midfield.
See the defensive players, therefore, Burnt Hills go back to huddle on a toss sweep to the right side and get a good lead block. He tried to cut back, actually lost his footing, and you see Myers come in, and actually Morton got in and made the stop. Zach Morton, the younger brother of a volleyball player that plays at Syracuse from Burnt Hills, Sarah Morton.
Who we saw earlier this year on our Time Warner Cable.
And actually, Jacob Myers, the other defensive end, his sister plays volleyball in college as well.
Davis, big hole up the middle, and a first down, Nyack to the 42-yard line.
Well, we're seeing right now that what the Indians like to do, how they establish things, how they establish control, no matter if it's against a Section 1 opponent or, in this case, a Section 2 opponent, is they like to establish with the offensive line, but that situation, they get a holding penalty, so that is not the way you establish control. And that might be something that really hurts them on this particular drive because they had some momentum. They had a first down. They're discussing it with Chris Van Alstyne, the senior captain, and he will, of course, say, let's send them backwards.
So they'll mark it from the spot of the foul.
We have an illegal shift on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
So illegal shift, not hold. So that only cost them 5 yards, so they'll go back to the original line of scrimmage.
Certainly looks like Nyack controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
So far early, it's very, teams make adjustments, but initially Nyack has had the better of it.
Leonard in motion. Nichols keeps on the option and jumped on from behind and tackled at the 46-yard line.
Jacob Myers coming in from behind. We have a penalty flag. And that might have been what you talked about on that play. That might be, they're going to get a face mask call. That's going to be a 5-yarder. So it looked like it was going to be 3rd down at about 10, and it's going to be 2nd down and 5.
Tonight's game, a typical matchup we see here in Kingston. Upstate versus downstate. Burnt Hills from just about 20 miles north of Albany, the state capital. Nyack just north of the Tappan Zee Bridge on the shores of the Hudson.
We have a 5-yard face mask penalty on the defense. Still 2nd down.
This is a matchup in the state playoffs. It's the matchup that Section 1 has played Section 2 more often than any other opponent. And Section 1's won most of the matchups.
Leonard hit in the backfield and dropped.
Connor Hadcock, the junior linebacker, has had an outstanding year for the Spartans. The defensive player of the year in his division. And you see there, belly, or actually a sweep play to the outside, and Hadcock just reads it easily and comes off, rubs off his block very easily, makes the play. Spartans, 3rd down opportunity here, 3rd and 8 near midfield. This would be a great opportunity to get some momentum back if they can get the stop here.
Midway through the first quarter, Nyack hands it off. And breaking tackles and picking up a first down is Brandon Johnson. And on a 3rd and 8, they run the ball and pick up the first down.
Myers looked like he had him at about the 45, almost the 50-yard line. And you'll see here, Myers comes in 84. It looks like he has him, and he just kind of rubs off. And then he broke that initial tackle, and that was the reason why they were able to pick up that first down. Normally a sure attacking Spartans team, that particular instance, it gets a key first down for the Indians here as they look to add to their early lead.
Davis bursts through the hole, runs over a man at the 35-yard line, a gain of 9.
Outstanding inside power running once again by Anthony Davis, and he's very low to the ground, but he kind of reminds you of Marcus Hepp in terms of the size and the build and the power, a little bit of the speed as well, and he picks up a first down.
So they got his forward progress, a gain of 10 just inside the 35. 5'8", 200 pounds. You talk about a player like a Marcus Hepp. If you want an NFL player, you might think of a Maurice Jones-Drew, a real sort of bowling ball type of guy.
Yeah, and he breaks a lot of tackles, but he will lull opponents to sleep with his speed.
Davis again. This time stopped after a short gain to the 33.
This is a gut check time for the Spartans in terms of answering back, because the Indians are starting to dictate how this game is being played, and that is not something that Burnt Hills is used to. As you see the outstanding numbers for Anthony Davis. 172 carries, 1,214 yards, 18 touchdowns.
The Indians with the ball on 2nd down and 8. Handoff Davis. No, they'll keep it with Nichols. And he has another first down to the 20 and the 19. As Nichols has been very effective in fooling me as well as the defense by keeping the ball after he fakes the handoff.
You have to sell those fakes, especially when you're running that kind of offense with the wing T. Able to sell it. He had people going after Davis, and it not only fooled you, it fooled our cameras, and it fooled some of the members of the Spartans defense, because they went after Davis and didn't pick up Nichols, and he gets a first down for the Indians.
Davis this time up the middle is tripped up at the 15-yard line as we go down to MJ.
Hey, thanks, Robert. Now, as you guys were saying, Ray Nichols has been very effective in this game so far. I was talking to a couple of reporters from the Nyack area, and they were telling me at the beginning of the year, he was basically ineffective, but got better and better every game. They actually said they haven't seen a kid improve this much over the short season in years, and they actually said if anybody was going to be here out of Section 1, they would have put money on it that it was actually going to be Ossining and not Nyack. Guys?
Marissa, thanks. As they look like a false start called against Nyack, which is run 12 plays, all of them rushes for 84 yards, 7 yards a rush.
And expand on Marissa's point, Ossining actually beat Nyack. That was their one loss during the regular season, and they got him in the Super Bowl. And Ossining looked like they were going to take care of business.
False start on the offense. Still 2nd down.
And Nyack decided to go for it, and from 4th and 1 from their own 19, and they actually converted that, and they were able to drive down the field actually on the next play. Nichols ran a 62-yard run, helped set up a touchdown, and they wound up winning that game 28-21 to get out of Section 1 for the first time in 5 years.
Section 2 teams do have some history with Nyack.
Well, yeah, Amsterdam, we were actually here in 2003. They played, and in 2002, and each time Nyack went on to the state championship game. They did it again.
Whistle before the play. That's really the only thing that stopped Nyack has been penalties so far.
Same penalty, same instance. One of the guards in the interior is trying to make a pull block. He's trying to get out in space, and he was about a half tick too quick on that one.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. Still 2nd down.
Don't expect Nyack to pass the ball, though. If you're, in case you're just joining us, their quarterback, Nichols, as we alluded to, only 44 pass attempts in 11 games. That's 4 per game.
And he'll hand it off in a big hole up the middle for Brandon Johnson on that play they converted on 3rd and 8. This time, he takes it up the middle to the 20-yard line.
Van Alstyne helped make sure that he didn't get away. It looked like he had a little daylight there, but Chris Van Alstyne, the senior linebacker, makes the stop. But it's 2nd down and a good pickup. And they got about almost 9 yards on that first down run. They'll call it 8, so it'll be 3rd down, and 12.
3rd down and 12 here. Nichols under center. See if he's forced to pass. He rolls out. He steps up. He throws. Well overthrown for his intended receiver. It'll be 4th down. Intended for Matt Mancini, his tight end.
Well, this is a tweener distance, so I would imagine that John Castellano, the coach of Nyack, will decide to go for it. They're at the line of scrimmage, about the 20-yard line. 37-yard field goal, 38-yard field goal if they go for it, but if they get the first down, they have an opportunity to go up 2 possessions, and they will open the second half with the football, so that would really bode well for them here as we close the first quarter.
On 4th down and 12. Nichols did not look particularly sharp with that last pass. Let's see if they run it here. Nope, they'll pass it again. Nichols stands in, throws deep down the far side. Broken up, incomplete. Intended for Brandon Johnson, and Burnt Hills will take over on downs.
That looked like Nick Henderson on the coverage, or was that? No, it wasn't. It was Michael Russell that was the guy who broke that up. Couldn't tell. It looked like 38, but it was 88. Michael Russell makes the deflection there, and then he makes sure that he tackles the guy in case he catches the football. A big stop there for Burnt Hills as they take over.
1st and 10 from the 21. Paluba in motion. Hand off Paluba and hit hard at the 23-yard line after a gain of 2.
That was a big series stop, and now it's up to Burnt Hills to make it somewhat of more of an advantage. They've got to get out of their own territory, get some momentum, keep their defense off the field, and start to establish their offense, which they have not been able to do so far. In case you're just joining us, the first series, Paul Layton, an uncharacteristic interception, helped set up Nyack's first score, and that's where we stand right now.
7-0, Nyack with the lead in the black jerseys. Burnt Hills in the white will take the snap. Run the sweep right. Beatty, nowhere to go, and ridden out of bounds at the 24-yard line.
And they're going to get a late hit because he was out in the white box. They're going to say that he was already out of bounds, and they took him down. There was a flag down.
I saw the official go to reach for his flag, but I don't think he did pull the flag out. I thought he was going to call a flag as well, but he did not. So it is going to be 3rd down here for Burnt Hills.
Well, you see here that he tries to pull up. Yeah, no, he just fell down. That's a good call. A good non-call.
3rd down and 6 here for the Spartans. Paluba in motion. Layton fakes the pitch. Throws to Paluba. He's got some room to the 20-25, but swarmed under quickly and tackled at the 27-yard line, short of a first down.
Well, he had a lot of daylight, but he had a lot of room to maneuver, but he also had a lot of room to get because he caught the ball behind the line of scrimmage, so he had to get 10 yards from that point. As you see there, the fake, they check off. Paluba has a downfield block, but he wasn't able to elude the pursuit that got there pretty easily.
So Layton will be on to punt the ball again from the 27-yard line. From the 17-yard line, I should say, as he crushes this ball, driving the Nyack player back. He'll watch it bounce to the 32 and be down right at the 32-yard line, or will they give him forward progress to the 30? They will, with 22 seconds left to go in the first quarter. 43-yard punt by Layton, who is getting some looks, big-time D1 looks as a punter.
Yeah, he is, and right now that I think he would not like to showcase his abilities as a punter. I think he'd like to be able to show off his abilities as a quarterback and as an offensive leader, but so far it's been very non-typical of their offense. 3 series that have resulted in nothing. One of them was an interception, and 2 series that did not amount to anything. And so far, Nyack has not done a spectacular job, but they've done enough. They took advantage of the 1 turnover. They had great field position and were able to use that Anthony Davis touchdown run to get the lead. And now it's incumbent upon their defense, Burnt Hills, to respond and get that football back.
If this play is a run, and percentages would dictate that it is, it could be the last play of the first quarter. Handoff, Davis fighting his way forward close to a first down at the 41-yard line.
I think he's catching them by surprise because they're getting hits on him very close to the line of scrimmage, but Anthony Davis is breaking a lot of tackles as the first quarter will wind to a close.
They stop the clock. If it's not a first down, the clock should keep running, and it is, and that will be the end of the first quarter. The score, the Nyack Indians 7 and the Burnt Hills Ballston Lake Spartans nothing. Second quarter action coming up after this on Time Warner Cable Sports. End of one quarter. The score, Nyack 7 and Burnt Hills nothing. Tonight's broadcast is sponsored by Terry Chrysler Jeep and Morris Ford Mercury, Route 50 Burnt Hills. Congrats to the Burnt Hills varsity football team on an outstanding season. Robert Lee, James Allen, Marissa Jackson, our entire Time Warner Cable Sports crew bundled up and bringing you all the action here from Kingston, New York and Dietz Stadium, an annual tradition on Time Warner Cable. The New York State football semifinals dominated so far by Nyack, 96 total yards to just 31 for Burnt Hills, Boston Lake. In motion Johnson, handoff Davis, has a first down, fighting his way forward, refusing to go down to the 48-yard line. A gain of 7 and a first down.
Been talking with Chris Van Alstyne during the week, and I asked him about what he expected from Nyack. He says, look, we saw what they did on film. They love to hit. We like to hit too. And it's going to have to be that way, and it's going to have to be a little bit more emphatic from Burnt Hills. And so far, Nyack, they haven't been spectacular. They're doing what they like to do, which is basically just come right at you, straight ahead, and bash you in the face.
Davis again breaking tackles, and Anthony Davis has been a stud so far to the 40-yard line, a gain of 12 and a first down as we go down to Marissa.
Hey, Robert, Nicholas Henderson on the sidelines right now trying to stay loose. He came off the field and had to get his right ankle taped up. Somebody hit him and rolled onto it. He has not been in the game for a couple of series now. At this point, he's hoping to get back in there, but he's one of Burnt Hills' best defensive backs, so without him, that's not a good sign for them right now.
Marissa, thank you. 8 carries, 75 yards for Davis already. He'll get the ball again. And this time not finding much to the 38-yard line. But once you start establishing that interior belly play, then the outside becomes a lot more open.
Absolutely. And then one of the things that I've noticed is, you know, we talked about how Burnt Hills is a very sure tackling team. We've seen a lot of guys bounce right off of him. They're hitting him. They're trying to hit him. They're trying to make form tackles. They're hitting him low, and they're just bouncing off. I saw that Tyler Palubas had it happen a couple of times. He's hit him up pretty good, got a pretty good shot on him, but he's just bounced off and been able to, have Davis been able to drag guys along.
The key could be to have more than one guy trying to tackle him. 3 on the play clock. And whistles. And I believe a timeout, as the coach, John Castellano, is screaming at his offense.
Timeout!
Timeout is called by Nyack. Hey, save hundreds with all the best from Time Warner Cable. Enjoy many exclusive digital cable, Roadrunner, and home phone features. Get them all together on one bill for one price with all the best. Call 1-866-321-CABLE. Sign up today. Time Warner Cable, the power of you. I feel the need to mention, because I have not mentioned this in a broadcast yet this year, but we recently got a high-definition television at our house, and we have Time Warner digital cable. James, it's amazing. I'm telling you, it's like you watch a normal TV now, and it's like the penthouse to the outhouse.
It's like black and white compared to color, basically.
It's really amazing, and
how come I haven't been over for this? I mean,
angling for an invite. I love it.
I'd like to see what it looks like.
I'm telling you, the HD is unbelievable, and it makes you wonder why you waited so long to get it. 38-yard line, 2nd down and 8. Man in motion. Nichols, the quarterback, keeps and is taken out of bounds just short of the first down.
That's one of those plays that they love to run with Nichols. They fake it inside. They get the motion going that way. It gives the illusion they're going with a sweep play with Davis on the inside, and then he just keeps it and tucks it away. And Nichols picks up close to first down yards. He'll be about a yard short. 3rd down at the 31. The junior having an outstanding game as well.
Nyack has had the ball for 9.5 minutes to Burnt Hills. Boston Lake's 4 minutes so far. 3rd down, Davis. And he is close to a first down. Let's see where they spot him.
He got across the 30, and that from the side judge over on our side, it looks like he's got the first down. All he had to do was get to the 30. If he crossed that threshold, that's a first down.
And it is another first down for Nyack.
You see, inside handoff to the fullback. He's going to get the majority of the carries as he came in tonight with 172 on the season. And he's been their workhorse now, 10 carries on the game.
Davis again, keeping his balance. Davis, another Nyack first down inside the 20.
I just think he's really, even though they looked at the scouting report, they looked at the film, when you see a guy like that, you look at him from a physical standpoint, you walk up to the line of scrimmage and you see him. He doesn't look that imposing, but I think he's really catching them off guard because they continually bounce off of him. His power has really caught the Spartans by surprise.
First and 10 from the 17. They almost fumble the ball. It's on the ground. It's on the ground and is recovered.
Get out!
It is recovered as there was a sloppy handoff.
Looks like Burnt Hills has it.
Burnt Hills, Boston Lake has it. A key turnover as Nyack looked like they were marching in for a score.
That's the kind of break you need in this particular instance. I believe Jacob Myers is the guy who came up with it. The junior defensive end, 6'5". As you see, oh, yeah, it was a miscommunication. It looked like Nichols was trying to hand it off to somebody else. He realized where he was supposed to take the ball, and instead of keeping it and taking the discretion, the better part of valor, not trying to hand it off, he tried to get it in there. Bad handoff, bad decision, and a big break for the Spartans. And John Castellano can't like that.
Once again, though, poor field position for Burnt Hills. Deep in their own territory. Layton out of the gun. Will run it himself. And will not run it far short of the 20-yard line.
And this is the first rushing attempt that he's had. This is even later than last week. And he's been the focal point of their offense throughout the year, but definitely in the last 3 weeks when they've been challenged a little bit more in the game against Troy, the Super Bowl against Bishop McGinn, and of course last week in the regional at Watertown versus Indian River. 189 yards rushing, a season high for him. They're going to need more of that tonight.
Man in the middle of that defensive line, Anthony Davis, continues to make an impact on both sides of the ball. Layton back to pass, rolling out left, throws it, almost intercepted. Antoine McLaughlin almost intercepted the ball for Nyack.
And Antoine McLaughlin is actually a transfer student. He's done an outstanding job for them. And actually, Tyler Paluba probably saved an interception. And Layton underthrew it again. He tried it, lofted out, and he just never got it there. He was trying to go out to Page out on the outside, but he threw a fluttering pass, and luckily Tyler Paluba made a really good adjustment, and he broke up that potential interception. It would have been picked off.
McLaughlin had every right to catch the ball, but Paluba did break it up with 8:39 left to go in the first half. 7-0 Nyack. Layton out of the shotgun again. On 3rd and 8. Takes the high snap. Screen is on. It is incomplete through the hands of Paluba. Not sure he would have made it for the first down anyways, but they will be forced to punt again.
I'm just kind of wondering, it's a situation. It's not overly cold, but it is cold where you think maybe you're not getting the proper grip. He tried to throw a little finesse pass a little bit too high. It might have been one that Paluba could have pulled in, but last week in the game at Watertown, it was unseasonably warm. It was 50 degrees, and maybe having a little problem with his fingers.
Wind has picked up a bit here as Layton stands at his own 5-yard line to punt it away. Takes the snap, kick is away, booms it again. Spiraling kick taken to the 39-yard line. Heading near side, trying to turn the corner and unable to do so. First of a weekend doubleheader here in Kingston. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock start, Class B semifinal. Hudson Falls and Rye. Tomorrow, exclusively live here on TW3. 4 o'clock start. Joe Calderon, James Allen, along with all the action. Hudson Falls and Rye.
Rodney Smith will be on the sidelines. Rye, 6-time Section 1 champion. They're defending state champions. Hudson Falls, Joe McMurray, 2,477 yards. He is 120 yards shy of the Section 2 single season record. He'll look forward tomorrow and a victory.
with the ball. Nichols keeps, and Nichols is swarmed under for a loss.
That is the defense that we've seen all year long. Zach Morton, junior defensive end, leading the charge. As you see there's good pursuit. Morton says, and Myers and the company, Hadcock, they all get there. That is what Matt Shell and the Spartans have been known for all season long, and that is the kind of defensive presence and the swarming vein that they need to get back to here nearly midway through the second quarter.
Johnson in motion. Davis the handoff, and Gang tackled out past the 45 at the 47. So I think if you're the Burn Hill coaching staff, you know what Nyack's going to do. There's nothing fancy about what they're doing. The question is, can you make the adjustments to stop it?
Well, it is, and you know, you look at it, Davis, I mean, there's no mystery. You know, when I wrote about this, it's like, look, Castellano told me, he says, we got to stop Paul Layton. You ask Matt Shell, we got to stop Anthony Davis. There's no mystery. It just comes down to a matter of execution, line scheme, how they set up their blocks. And I think it's taken a little time for Burn Hills to make some adjustments. They look like they're a little bit more in tune to what they need to do.
Nichols back to pass. He dropped the ball, and he falls on it at the 43-yard line. They'll be forced to punt.
Hadcock was right there waiting to pounce on that loose football. He'll get credit for the sack. And that is the kind of defense that people from Section 2 are accustomed to with Burn Hills. Nichols didn't have anywhere to go. Very fortunate to get that football back, bounce right back into his lap as he tried to avoid the rush, and Hadcock got there. And that's what the Spartans need. They'll look for a little better field position. They've been kind of pinned back on their own end here the last few possessions.
Stanley Pierre-Louis to punt it from the 30-yard line. Takes a low snap, kick is away. Very poor kick. That goes over to the far side at the 46-yard line. Out of bounds at the 42. It's about a 14-yard punt for Pierre-Louis, and good field position for Burn Hills.
Here's a good look at the last play on offense. And you see Nichols rolls out. He loses the football as he avoids the rush, and then Hadcock cleans up, gets the sack. And a bad punt now gives Burn Hills good field position at the 42. 6:14 to go. In case you're just joining us, Nyack scored on their first offensive series after a Paul Layton interception. Anthony Davis scored his 18th rushing touchdown, and that is where we're at right now.
7-0 to score. Burn Hills with the ball in the white jerseys. Handoff up the middle. And honestly, one of the better gains for Burn Hills so far today. They pick up 5.
Well, they need to establish their running game. Paul Layton has thrown 99 passes, and he's been effective in that regard with 1,097 yards coming in. But everything is predicated on how they set things up through that offense, through those sweep plays. That was really how they gashed Indian River last week. They need to get back to that, and then their offensive line's got to start establishing some things here.
More manageable second down, 2nd and 5. Layton keeps it on the option right and nowhere to go as he's swallowed up.
And one of the things that John Castellano told me was, look, we're going to make sure that our ends do not sell out too much on the inside. We're going to make sure that they stay home in case Layton does try to go to the outside. You saw Matt Mancini there making the stop. Their defensive ends are known as the Bash Brothers, and they've done an outstanding job. They put a lot of pressure on, much the way that Zach Morton and Jacob Myers do for Burn Hills.
3rd down and 5. Burn Hills looking to keep control of the ball here. Very high snap. Layton does a good job to come up with it. Now running for his life. He'll be swallowed under and stopped at the 44-yard line.
Just those little subtle mistakes are really costing Burn Hills in their offense. High snap. Layton could never really get into the rhythm of the play because he had to make sure he got the football. As you see here, that messes everything up. Mancini forces him inside, then he comes back and makes sure that he takes him down. Gets credit for half of the sack there. Layton has not had the kind of time. He's also underthrown a couple of balls. He had 1 intercepted. He could have had 2 more intercepted in this game. It's not been a stellar effort so far for the senior quarterback.
Layton takes the snap. Another beautiful kick that'll be taken by McLaughlin at the 11. McLaughlin to the 15, cuts upfield to the 20. McLaughlin hit at the 30, breaking tackles to the 35. Good return by Antoine McLaughlin to the 37-yard line.
That's a great way to answer a booming punt. Looked like Burnt Hills might have had him pinned back, but a nice return there. Good following of the blocks, and Layton has helped put them at least in decent field position. Not great, but the pursuit on the kick return finally gets there. You see Paluba break away for a tackle there, and McLaughlin picks up good yardage out past the 35. This is a key stop opportunity here for Burnt Hills. They do not want to allow Nyack to go down the field. They will get the football to start the second half. You do not want to be down 3 possessions early.
Just over 4 minutes left to go in the first half. Davis stopped at the 39-yard line after a gain of 2.
Hadcock and Van Alstyne helped make the stop there on Anthony Davis.
And it looks like a Nyack lineman is a little gimpy getting back to the huddle. Maxim Ngola.
And their offensive line has done a pretty good job so far. A good series, the last one, Robert, for Burnt Hills. They need to get back to that. They need to get another stop here, regroup, go into halftime, make some adjustments, and see what they can come up with in the second half. Only being down 1 possession is very manageable. Don't want to go down 2.
Davis and Gang tackled at the 42-yard line, so Burnt Hill's starting to do a better job on that play.
Well, they are. They're starting to recognize they're getting into the A-gap much better this quarter than they did last quarter. They had a lot of free roaming plays when Davis was really able to read right away, make one subtle cut and get into the linebackers, into the secondary. He hasn't had that opportunity his last 5 carries, and he's been pretty much swallowed up at the line of scrimmage, which is what the Spartans want to do. Get a good look at the veteran coach, John Castellano.
2:45 left to go first half. New York State semifinal. 4 on the play clock.
Another motion
more
penalty.
Whistles and flags.
And that was Leonard on the slot. He picked up out of his stance. That'll cost him another 5. And that's been the biggest aid so far for Burnt Hills. As much as they've played better the last couple of series, the biggest problem right now for Nyack has been their penalties.
4 penalties now for 20 yards. They're averaging better than 5 yards a play.
False start on the offense. Still 3rd down.
Actually, as the rough man says, why don't we just say 5 yards a run? Because they haven't completed a pass.
That's right.
And they've got the lead 7-0 for Coach John Castellano, who you see there. 3rd down and 10. Burnt Hills looking for a stop here. Misdirection play, Leonard. And stopped short of the first down of the 45. Burnt Hills may want to call a timeout here. They have 3 timeouts left. The clock is running with 2:25 left to go.
Well, I think the only reason why they might not call timeout, Robert, is because I don't think that John Castellano has not been afraid to go for 4th and short. And I don't think you want to give them any incentive to think about even going for it. They're going to line up to punt, but you have to be aware of the fact that they will gamble in their own territory. They did it in the regional game. They also did it in their own Section 1 Super Bowl where they went for it 4th and 1 from their own 19.
Snap is back. Paluba deep to receive. Wobbly kick, bounces at the 31. Takes a Burnt Hills bounce and is down at the 33-yard line with 1:45 left to go in the first half. Hey, Time Warner Cable brings you all the best in local customer service with the recent opening of the newest payment center right in the heart of Clifton Park at Clifton Park Center. There are even more convenient locations to best serve you. Visit Time Warner Cable at Clifton Park Center. Experience all of the latest products, pay your bill, or add services. Time Warner Cable, the power of you. Now 40 seconds ran off the clock from the last play. You've only got 1:46 left to go in the first half. First down and 10. You do have a good kicker in Layton, so a field goal is a possibility. Layton out of the shotgun, takes a good snap, throws down the middle, caught at the 50. And tackled at the 47-yard line was Craig Page.
He had the 38-yard touchdown reception last week, his first of the season, and they'll get right up to the line of scrimmage. They have those timeouts to play with. They are across midfield, and that open, the middle of that field was wide open, and Layton recognized it right away and went to Page.
20-yard gain. As Layton back to pass again, throws near side, caught by Keaton Flint, and taken out of bounds to the 37-yard line. Another Burnt Hills first down.
Well, they decided that we're going to go to the passing game, and Paul Layton looked much more comfortable on those last two throws than he's looked at any of these had previous to this point. And he will get him up to the line of scrimmage after.
They're going to call for the sticks, even though it looks like he's got it by about half a yard.
Well, they're going to allow, what that will do is it'll allow them to get back up to the line of scrimmage. So they will measure that, and then Burnt Hills will be able to get back up there quickly and move forward. If they get the first down, they'll start the clock once again. I think he got it too, but I want to make sure. And he did.
It is enough for a first down. We'd want to once again thank Terry Morris, Terry Chrysler Jeep, and Morris Ford Mercury on Route 50 in Burnt Hills. Certainly very proud of their hometown team, the Burnt Hills Spartans varsity football team. Thank them for their sponsorship of tonight's action. First down and 10 for Burnt Hills from the 37-yard line. Clock has not started. He went out of bounds on that play. The right guard moved. It'll be a motion penalty against the Spartans. Now the clock started. It's down to 1:19. He went out of bounds on the play.
False start on the white. Still first down.
And nobody from the Burnt Hills staff noticed that they just ran off
7 seconds.
7 seconds, or 7 or 8 seconds.
Clock will start again. Layton takes the snap, pressure's on, flushed out of the pocket, he'll run. 40, Layton turns the corner, ridden out of bounds at the 35-yard line. A gain of 7.
Well, they had 3 receivers out to the right side. He realized it wasn't there, and then he turns it up, actually loses the football, but fortunately for him, once again, that's the second time that's happened. Beatty earlier in the game, he lost it, but he was on the sideline, didn't lose the football, and picked up a couple of yards. Second down, clock stops, 1:07 to go.
7-0 Nyack. Burnt Hills looking for a tying touchdown here late in the first half. Nyack will get the ball to start the second half. Layton runs it up the middle, takes a big hit, fights his way forward to the 30. Terrence Fede made the big stick, number 52.
One of those defensive ends we talked about. And they get right up to the line of scrimmage. Third down at the 30-yard line. 47-yard kick from this point. Layton's got a leg, but I think they'd like to get the first down and keep this drive alive.
Layton fakes the pass, feels the pressure. He is hit and sacked, and he fumbled the ball. He fumbled the ball, and a timeout is called by Burnt Hills as they recover the fumble. Now that's a situation where maybe they would have been better off letting the clock run down and then just kicking to end the half.
Right, but I think they're going to go for it. I don't think they're going to try to line up for a 48-yard kick from this point or 49-yard kick. Layton's got a big leg, and he can certainly, from a distance standpoint, get it there, but it's no sure thing. And I think that they look at this and say, let's try to get the first down. We still have a couple of timeouts to play with, and let's try to get a little closer. Don't
forget, the winner of this game goes to the Carrier Dome next week. State Championship weekend. Tickets 888-DOME-TICKS. Just $10 a day. Saturday, the Class D, C, and A state championships. Sunday, November 30th, Class AA and Class B. 1-888-DOME-TICKS. The Carrier Dome, the home of the state championships in Syracuse, New York. 31 seconds left to go now, first half. Burnt Hills with 2 timeouts left. If they can get a first down here, and it looks like they are going to go for it, they still have some shots to try to score a touchdown.
They do, and you know, it's been very interesting so far, really how the Indians' defense has played. They've really kind of negated Layton in terms of the running game, and that makes very interesting in terms of adjustments and how they will attack in the second half. But right now, they just need a first down.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. You'll throw to the 1 to the left, and it's a bounce pass into Keaton Flint, incomplete. Layton has not looked accurate so far.
No, he had it. He rushed. He didn't set his feet on that throw and didn't really drive into that throw. He kind of threw off his back foot. As you see there, he didn't really step into that throw, and he just short-armed it in there, and Keaton Flint was open, but Instead of picking up a first down, they'll turn it over on downs. I would imagine that you'll see a run here possibly with Davis and see if they can pick up anything, or they'll just maybe take a knee. But I think they'll try to go up the middle and see if they can pop one.
Full house backfield, and they will take a knee to end the first half. So Anthony Davis, a 28-yard touchdown run in the opening minutes of the game, is the only score in this game so far. Nyack 7, Burn Hills, Boston Lake nothing. Davis 14 carries, 102 yards, and that one touchdown. The clock will run down to 5 seconds left to go. Nyack will not run another play. And that's the end of the first half. A defensive struggle, but definitely a game that has been controlled by Nyack.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. Nyack's had the better of it so far. Burn Hills, in a lot of regards, is very fortunate to only be down right now, Robert, by only 7-0. They could have been intercepted on a couple of passes that Layton threw short. Their offense, in terms of the running game, was never established. Layton hasn't had a lot of time to throw. He hasn't looked very accurate. Defensively, Burn Hills stepped it up in the second quarter, but their offense is going to have to respond, or they're going to be in very big trouble of trying to get to this Carrier Dome here to reach the state championship game for the first time in school history. And Nyack, who's got a little bit more experience in this spot, has certainly showed that they're ready to play tonight.
As Marissa Jack's trying to track down Coach Matt Shell, with Nyack leading at 7-0. Let's go down to Marissa.
Thanks, guys. We're here with Burnt Hills head coach Matt Shell. Coach, your defense really keeping you guys in this game at this point.
Yeah, we're hanging in there. They're a real good football team, Nyack, but we're, all things considered, we're fortunate to be 7-0. We have to regroup a little bit, but our kids will battle to work hard. We've missed a few things offensively, but Nyack, give them credit. They're playing hard defensively, so we have to make some plays, and if we make some plays, we'll have a good opportunity to win.
Coach, obviously both teams have to play in this weather, but do you think the cold is affecting Paul right now?
No, Paul will be fine. He's a competitor. He'll find a way to make us competitive in the second half. I believe that he will.
All right, Coach, thanks for talking to us. Good luck in the second half. Robert, I don't know. Paul's a competitor. Maybe I'm not, because it is cold down here. Let's send it back up to you guys.
Marissa, thanks. 7-0 the score of the half. We will try to warm up a little bit with the halftime report. Nyack with the lead. Back with the CDPHP halftime show after this on Time Warner Cable Sports. Those youngsters staying warm on the Burn Hills sideline. The score at the half, Nyack 7, Burn Hills nothing. Tonight's halftime show is brought to you by CDPHP. CDPHP, a plan for life. And folks, we welcome those of you watching in your houses right now. We hope you are warm, because it is freezing here in Kingston. It's about 20 degrees right now. The wind is starting to pick up. Robert Lee, James Allen back with you. And James, Nyack got that early interception. They punched it in immediately for a score, and that's been all the scoring we've seen.
Yeah, they really took advantage of it, Robert, and really you have to commend Nyack. They didn't do anything spectacular, but that's their game plan. They've had to come from behind the last 2 weeks. This time they took advantage of the mistake that Burn Hills, and they made them pay for it. Now, as you see with Marissa, with Matt Shell, I think he's a little concerned because he knows that his team has not played well. They'll make some adjustments. He's got a senior leader in Paul Layton who's been through this before, not at this level, but he's gone through playoffs before. He's led them to 2 Section 2 Super Bowl titles. I think they definitely have the capabilities, but they've got to establish some offensive continuity. Until they do that, Nyack's going to dictate this game.
Anthony Davis, the fullback for Nyack, already has over 100 yards on the ground. He really ran wild early. Burn Hills, Boston Lake started to slow him down a little bit, but they've got to do a better job of neutralizing him.
They do, and you know, they have to. They've done a better job in terms of wrapping him up and not let him break tackles. And really, you know, they're not going to pass the ball that much. So if you can stop Davis, you're going to have a very strong chance of stopping them. But conversely, if the Spartans don't gain enough yardage and don't gain first downs themselves, we could be at 7-0 all the way to the end. So it's going to take a big response here from the Spartans, bigger than they've had to make so far this season.
And the field position battle has been heavily in favor of Nyack so far as well.
No question, and they will start the second half with the football. And, you know, a 2-possession lead in a game like this, it's not insurmountable, but it's certainly something that I don't think Burn Hills, they want to be the next team that scores in this game.
Right now, we're going to send it down to Marissa. She's got a special treat for us.
Hey, thanks, guys. It's 7-0 at halftime. A great game.
CDPHB halftime show continues from Chile, Kingston, New York, Nyack 7, and Burnt Hills nothing. Welcome back here to the Time Warner Cable Sports High School Football Game of the Week. Robert Lee, James Allen with you. And James, we saw those highlights, an exciting highlight package. Great job by the Time Warner Sports guys putting that all together, and a reminder of some of the great games we've had this season.
We've seen a lot of great football. Hopefully we're going to see a little bit more great football from Section 2 and Burnt Hills, and obviously tomorrow with Rye versus Hudson Falls and Joe McMurray going for the Section 2 rushing record. I think Burnt Hills has certainly got it in them. They're only down 7 points, and let's see what they come up with here in the next 24 minutes.
Quite a crowd Burnt Hills was brought down from just north of Albany. For more on that, we go down to Marissa.
Yeah, Robert, definitely a huge crowd. And when you get this far in any tournament, community support really becomes a big deal. And for Burnt Hills, as you guys said, they brought a ton of fans. I'm going to step away so we can take a look at all these Burnt Hills fans here cheering on the Spartans, making some noise for us at this point. Now, I talked to Matt Schell earlier on, and he said, this is just a Burnt Hills thing. This isn't just for football. It's great that these fans come out and support us, but really these fans do it for every single sport in Burnt Hills. And Burnt Hills usually puts out a lot of really good teams on both the boys teams and the girls teams. So community support is always a huge thing, not just for football, but really it's such a great thing and a great thing for the guys because they really truly enjoy having these fans here to help them out. Guys, I'll send it back up to you.
Thank you, Marissa, and a great job by all these folks braving the elements here tonight. We take a look at our first half highlights, which are brought to you by All the Best. And really the only score of the game and the big turning point of the game happened very early.
Well, it did, and how it was set up was by a mistake by Burnt Hills, and they had the ball to start the game, and Paul Layton a little bit underthrown. Dominic Leonard makes the interception, and that helps set up the Indians in good field position, and then the senior fullback, Anthony Davis, breaks the tackle at about the 15-yard line, takes it in from 28 yards out. A St. Louis extra point makes it 7-0. Now we see the pass play on 4th down and 10, and they were able to break it up. Michael Russell in the end zone. That helped avert a possible touchdown by Nyack. And here's another opportunity they had where they fumbled it on the snap, and Jacob Myers recovered it. We see the one turnover each, but the yardage is decidedly in favor of Nyack.
Nyack with twice as many yards, all of them on the ground. They've racked up 9 first downs. Davis, 14 carries, 102 yards and a score. Layton, 4 out of 8, 41 yards and 1 interception. Those are first half stats. And James, you really look at what Burnt Hills has to do here in the second half. We talked a little bit about it. What do you see as being their best offensive option?
Well, I think they have to get Layton involved in terms of the running game. And really what I've been impressed by is the defensive ends from Nyack. And that's Fide and Mancini. They've kept him on the inside. They're not allowing him, when he fakes the handoffs inside to Vium and Paluba, to get to the outside in the running game. If you can take that element away from Burnt Hills, you've really done you've won the battle in a lot of ways. They've got to establish him. I think they'll run some quarterback draws with him on the inside, try to loosen that up a little bit. They've got to establish line of scrimmage. Right now, you have to say on both sides of the ledger, Nyack is winning the line of scrimmage.
Don't forget the rights to this broadcast have been granted by by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association, representing high schools from across the state of New York. Any rebroadcast or republication of the programming without the written consent of the New York State Public High School Athletic Association or Time Warner Cable is strictly prohibited. This is a production of Time Warner Cable Sports, an exclusive product of Time Warner Cable. Section 2's Burnt Hills Boston Lake Spartans trail Section 1's Nyack Indians 7-0 at the half. Second half action coming up when we come back. Just about set for the second half from Kingston, New York. The score, Nyack 7 and Burnt Hills nothing. Second half action is brought to you by Niemer Ford, Quaker Road, Queensbury, celebrating 25 years of serving the North Country. This is the second game today. The earlier game, the Class D championship, Moriah was on fire on a cold day. They rolled to a 21-6 win over Tuckahoe.
I knew you'd do it. Section 7 Moriah, who beat Rensselaer in a shutout last week, 19-0 at Glens Falls. Well, they took care of business, and Moriah's been an outstanding Class D power the last few years, and they get to the Carrier Dome. They beat Tuckahoe, another traditional power, by a score of 21-6. So congratulations goes out to Moriah from Section 7, our northern brothers.
Tomorrow, 3 games. The Class C championship, the Class B championship, which will feature Hudson Falls out of Section 2 against Rye, the Garnets from downstate. And then the AA game, I believe, features New Rochelle against the power of all powers, Monroe-Woodbury.
Well, Monroe-Woodbury was about 5 years ago was another Section 9 team that was pretty easily beaten, but they've established a fine program that's going to be an outstanding matchup. New Rochelle beat LaSalle last week. Section 1 champs. Section 1 has all 5 of their teams in the semifinals. We have a score. Sweet Home won 35-0. How about that?
So the winner here will face Sweet Home, which shuts out Corning West.
Not over yet. It's almost over, but they're firmly in control. They're going to win that game. So Sweet Home is going to be the team that moves on.
Sweet Home, the #1 team in the state from Buffalo, Section 6.
And they were the ones that beat the previous #1, which was Aquinas, the defending champions. And they beat them quite convincingly.
So either of these teams is going to have their hands full in the state championship next week, but they would just like to get there to have the shot.
Just have the shot. We've seen it happen before. We've seen, I've been there when colossal favorites have gone down. I remember a couple of years ago, Section 3, their team was 4-3 in the regular season. They got to the Carrier Dome against Monroe-Woodbury, a decided underdog, and they wound up winning it. So you never know.
Paul Layton will kick it away from the 40-yard line to Antoine McLaughlin at the 5-yard line. Layton puts a boot into it, end-over-end kick, taken by an up back at the 6. Out to the 20, and spun down at the 20-yard line. Tackle made by Tyler Paluba.
This is a key spot for Burnt Hills on both sides of the ball. Their defense has to play the way it did in the second half of the second quarter, where they really were able to negate Davis. He wasn't able to break free from the initial contact of the line of scrimmage. If they can continue to do that, they force. It's really what we talked about at the beginning of the game. You'd love to be able to force Nichols into a situation where he's third and 10, 2nd and 12, where they have to think about throwing the football. That is what you want to do if you're the Spartans on defense.
Johnson in motion. Nichols keeps it himself and is swarmed under at the 16-yard line, a loss of 4.
Myers, once again, he's had a big impact in this game. He had a fumble recovery in the second quarter. Good pursuit there by the defensive end, number 84, the junior, 6'5". The bookend defensive ends at 6'5", Zach Morton and Jacob Myers, making their presence felt. And they're both replacing some pretty good players last year in Budisham and Paul Kovic.
They'll call it a loss of 3. Davis breaking tackles, and Anthony Davis out past the 20 to the 24-yard line.
A little bit of daylight there, a little bit scary, but the pursuit gets there, and that's the one thing you will hope to avoid. You've got them bottled up here. You'd love to be able to make them punt and go 3 and out. As you see, Davis breaks some tackles. Paluba this time makes sure he makes the tackle, and he gets some help by Tanner as well.
So early on, as James mentioned, a big play here. Chance for Burnt Hills to try to seize the momentum with a stop. Davis, and he will not get the first down. He will not get more than a yard out to the 25-yard line.
And that is the kind of series you want to see if you're a fan of the Burnt Hills Spartans. Good defensive surge up the middle. They don't allow him to cut back. As you see, Hadcock and the company get there. Plenty of pursuit there for the Spartans, and they will get the football back, and they should have excellent field position with their opening series here in the third quarter.
Pierre-Louis to punt it away from the 11-yard line. Tyler Paluba at the 45 to receive. Kick is away. Low sidewinding kick. Bounces at the 45. And Paluba will watch it take a good Nyack roll all the way to the 30-yard line. So it ends up being an excellent kick for Pierre-Louis, and suddenly not great field position for Burnt Hills.
Could have been better if he was able to field it in the air. He wasn't able to do so. A good decision there, not trying to do anything spectacular. Just take the football. There's still decent field position at the 30. And the senior quarterback, Paul Layton, will try to get this offense and get them rolling, unlike they have in the first half. In case you're joining us, they only had 75 yards of offense in the first half, a season low, as they look to make this 24 minutes count here in the semifinals.
Burnt Hills, a team that averages almost 45 points a game. They have been shut out so far. Layton hands it off on the sweep left. Trying to turn the corner is Nick Henderson. He does a good job to push his way forward to the 35-yard line.
Well, the pursuit was there, actually. Petrolaki was one of the guys that was able to get around the corner, and he actually had, you'll see number 22 for Nyack. He actually strings the play out very, very well. He gets up, and actually he ran right by him. And you see Henderson back in the ball game, so that's a good sign in terms of now he's coming back off again. That's not good. And he's limping again, as we see on the monitor.
And on a night like this, you got to keep yourself warm so that the ankle or whatever may be ailing him doesn't stiffen up. Layton keeps out past the 40. Layton 45-50, brought down in Nyack territory at the 48-yard line of Burnt Hills first down.
Well, they gave him a different look, and that's one of the decisions that you wanted to see. And I thought they would try to go the inside with Layton. The outside stuff was not working. Fake the belly play to Vium, and they all followed him. And Layton had a multitude of angles to take there. Goes right up the middle and picks up a key first down. They get across midfield for the second time here tonight.
17-yard gain for Layton. Longest run of the game for Burnt Hills. Layton keeps to the right. And tackled at the 43-yard line after a gain of 5.
And it was very interesting last week in looking at the Indian River game. As I alluded to early in the broadcast, he didn't carry the ball until about 2-3 minutes to go in the first quarter. They really hadn't established him, and then once they were able to kind of figure out how Indian River's defense was playing, they really attacked. And that's something that, because Matt Shell allows Paul Layton to make some decisions at the line of scrimmage, maybe he decided he saw some things in their defense. Maybe he's taking advantage of those now.
Burnt Hills quickening the tempo. Layton keeps again up the middle of the 40. And brought down, he fumbled the ball at the 39-yard line. He fumbled the ball.
I think he might have gotten it back, but he definitely, that ball was out before he went down.
It is Burnt Hills football, and it might be enough. It looks like it's a little bit short of a first down.
Very fortunate there, but as we see the last few plays, Layton is taking the brunt of things a little bit more on his shoulders in terms of the running game. And that will help open up things on the outside. If he's able to establish that inside running that he's been able to do the last few plays, that will help the stretch plays that they like to go to the outside with running backs like Henderson and Vium and Beatty. Get a good look at head coach Matt Shell.
What a powerhouse program he's built at Burnt Hills.
No doubt about it. A few years ago, they had made a few semifinal appearances, hadn't made a lot of Super Bowl appearances. Now they've won 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. They've made it to the Class A Super Bowl in Section 2 all 3 years.
That was a close measurement.
That was a very close measurement. Basically, a couple of fingernails is about the distance that they will need to pick it up. Don't be surprised to see the quarterback keeper here with Layton. They're not going to do anything tricky. I would imagine in this particular spot. Just pick it up, keep the chains moving, keep the momentum going in favor of the Spartans here in the third quarter. Something they have not had throughout this game.
Third down and literally an inch. Nyack with 10 men in the box. From the 38-yard line. Handoff Beatty up the middle, first down. To the 36, a gain of 2.
There was a cutback lane there. Beatty wasn't able to quite get there, but more importantly, he picks up the first down. They go to the stretch play. And the momentum is starting to churn in favor of Burnt Hills. They're getting a little bit more running room. Their offensive line is coming off the ball a lot better here in the third quarter than they did in either the first or the second quarters.
Handoff. And upended after no gain as we go down to MJ.
Guys, I think I have on every single article of clothing that I own right now. I'm still cold, but if you look on the Burnt Hills sideline, a bunch of these coaches are wearing shorts. You're probably thinking they must be crazy. I actually talked to Bob McGuire, the AD, before the game, and he said, superstition. If you're undefeated, of course you're going to continue to wear those shorts. He said, I used to do the same thing when I was a coach, and as a matter of fact, if you put suntan lotion on your legs, it keeps the heat in, and it's not that bad. So we'll have to ask these guys after the game if they got some suntan lotion on. Guys, let's send it back up to you.
Bring some up here. Second down and 10. Fumbled the ball. It's recovered by Nyack. Looked like Vium fumbled the ball, and it was recovered by Nyack. Antoine McLaughlin as a big hit. It looked like a helmet-to-ball hit.
Yeah, it did. Vium, he was fighting for extra yardage. He broke the initial tackling attempt at about the 35-yard line. And he lurched forward, as you'll see here on the replay. And you see he's looking away, and then right there, the helmet, the shoulder pads actually made the hit. And Vium lost the football, almost recovered there by the Spartans, but McLaughlin, 1-on-2, makes the beeline to the football, and he reacts quicker and gets it back.
On first down, they hand it off to Johnson, and he is swallowed up and dropped at the 27-yard line.
And I'll tell you what, Robert, it is a much more inspired effort on the defensive side from the Spartans, and quite frankly, they're going to need it because they're not having their way offensively. A couple of big mistakes have really put them in a situation where they cannot afford to allow another score. So they're going to have to keep playing this way, and they're going to have to hope that their offense will eventually get them the score that they're going to need to tie this up or maybe even take the lead.
Already past the midway point of the third quarter. Time starting to run out on the Spartans in their hopes of a state championship. Still plenty of time to go, though. They pitch it right. And nothing doing again as he stopped at the 29-yard line. Matt Mancini on the carry.
Well, it's one of those situations, Robert, because they've been able to kind of take away Davis here in the second quarter, and now early in the third quarter, they're going to different players, and actually that was
Jerry Wisdom Coffee.
Wisdom Coffee that carried the football in that particular situation. But if you take away the one guy who's been the focal point, who had 100 yards in the first half, they don't really have anything else to rely on because they don't really have anybody else that has that many yards.
Third down. Davis first down. Anthony Davis, a huge conversion to the 46-yard line.
Well, they've been able to take away that fullback play for about 5 or 6 times in a row, but that time they went with a little bit more of a quick hitter as opposed to a little bit of a stretch play where they give Davis an opportunity to cut back. You see he just got the ball quickly, goes up the middle, hits the hole hard and almost broke it. Tyler Paluba helps make the stop there. Otherwise, he could have been off to the races.
16-yard carry for Davis and a first down for the Indians. Pitch left. Johnson cuts upfield to the 50. Flag is down. Johnson delivers a blow at the 44-yard line. A flag is down.
Well, the flag has been the best friend, and it looks like it's going to be a friend again for the Spartans because that play is going to come back, and it's going to be a big loss. A holding penalty, that is, the flag is down at the 43. That will take them back to the 33. So that will be a big turn of events there because it could have been a rushing play over across midfield near the first down marker, and it's going to be about a 30-yard loss when you take it back from where they actually gained it to where the penalty yards will be taken away.
We have a hold on the offense. 10 yards, repeat first down.
So they continue to back up Nyack. That hold in the backfield, so it'll make it first down and very long now from the 33-yard line. This is a situation, if you're Burnt Hills, you've got to capitalize here and prevent them from getting the first down.
Well, this is and the other thing that kind of helps their defensive cause is they haven't thrown the football that effectively all year long, so it takes away an element that they don't have to worry about.
A slow developing play, and it is stopped in the backfield. Dominic Leonard on the carry. Very slow developing play that loses yards.
With each play, you're seeing the confidence level of this defense is really rising. As you see, Leonard almost lost the football on the handoff from Nichols. It was a slow developing play. Hadcock and company making the stop. And Burnt Hills defense is definitely rising to the occasion. But so far tonight, their offense has not played at the level we've become accustomed to. Obviously, the competition level has risen, but they've got to raise their level if the Spartans hope to win this football game.
Got to look at linebacker Ian Schwann as they keep it with Nichols running left, turns upfield, brought down at the 38-yard line. Still a long way to go for that first down, with 3:20 left to go in the third quarter.
Well, I think at this point, I mean, obviously they'd love to get the first down, but I think Coach Castellano would like to get a play where they could get, near midfield, and hopefully if they had to punt the football, they could pin Burnt Hills back here as 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Time is elapsing quickly in this game because Nyack doesn't throw the football.
Will they run it again on 3rd and long? Yes, they will, with Anthony Davis, and he is stopped at the 44-yard line. Nyack will be forced to punt, and it's almost, you sense the thought process becoming, maybe we don't need to score again if we're Nyack. Maybe we'll just shut them out.
Well, I think I think you're onto something, Robert, because they're not going to do anything silly in that situation. It was 3rd and long. They'll punt the ball. They'll rely on their defense that has won the battle so far tonight to come up with another stop.
Pierre-Louis from the 30 gets it away. Good kick. Taken by Paluba at the 29 and falls forward to the 31-yard line. Did you know that more than 3 million homes nationwide enjoy Time Warner Cable Home Phone? Popular features like caller ID on TV, call waiting, and call forwarding, combined with unlimited local and long distance to make Time Warner Cable Home Phone a must-have. Call 866-321-CABLE. Sign up today. Time Warner Cable, the power of you.
Well, there's a good look at what we're dealing with tonight. Maybe not with the pink blankets. Robert is not wearing a pink blanket right now.
We should mention we went to take a drink of the water that we always bring up here, a bottle of water. It's frozen. There's no water coming out of it. Layton throws far side, caught out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Craig Page, call it at the 37.
You just got to shake it up a little bit, Robert, that's all. But Layton has been a lot more efficient in his passing here in the second half. He looks more like the guy we've seen through 11 games in Section 2 and regional competition, and that is something that Matt Schell and this offense really desperately need.
Layton out of the gun, stands in, throws near side, caught by Flint, breaks a tackle to 45, and brought down for a Burnt Hills first down.
Good short passing, crisp, delivered with velocity. That is a kind of pass we've seen. The one that he threw toward the end of the second quarter that he didn't step into, we saw a ball flutter out of his hands. That is the kind of velocity you've seen normally from Paul Layton on his passes.
Layton runs it up the middle, has room, and is close to another first down at the 45-yard line.
Terrence Vinay, the defensive end, the senior, makes the stop, but not before the big first down pickup. Layton once again on the inside. He's getting a lot more opportunities to make decisions. He realizes that the pass rush is there. It's a design run up the middle and gains 9 yards on first down.
Sets up an advantageous 2nd and 1. Out of the shotgun, Layton takes the snap, stands in, has time, flushed out of the pocket to the right, throws deep down the middle, incomplete. into no man's land around the 25-yard line. It'll be third down.
Now, that was a situation where I think that once he got rolled out, he got flushed out to the right side, he probably should have took that ball away. He might not have gotten the first down, but he could have picked up nearly that much. He tried to force the ball down the field. Very fortunate for him and for the Spartans, that ball was underthrown.
Third and 1. Final minute of the third quarter. Still 7-0 Nyack. Layton runs it. First down, Burn Hills to the 43-yard line.
And right now, as much as you want to keep the chains moving and keep the ball going down the field, the Spartans also have to take care of the football. They threw an interception on the first series, and then they got down the field early in the third quarter, and they had a fumble on a play that Vium fumbled it near the 30-yard line that negated what looked like a momentum-changing drive for the Spartans to open the third quarter.
Fresh set of downs for Burn Hills. Layton runs the option right and dives forward inside the 40 to the 39, a gain of 4. As the clock runs down to 20 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
It's going to be the last one, I believe.
They're
going to try to sneak one in. Yeah, he wants to sneak one in. Matt Shell told Layton, try to get one in before the end of the quarter.
They're spotted at the 40-yard line. Second down. 7 seconds left. 5 seconds. They get the playoff in time. They hand it off on the sweep left. Strung out, turning the corner. Beatty has room 35, and Beatty out of bounds inside the 30-yard line as the third quarter comes to an end. 12 minutes away from the Carrier Dome. Nyack 7, Burn Hills nothing on Time Warner Cable Sports. To the fourth quarter. 12 minutes away from crowning an Eastern New York State champion that will go to the Carrier Dome to play for the state championship next week. Nyack 7, Burn Hills nothing. Marissa Jacks, a popsicle down on the field alongside James Allen, Robert Lee joining you. Burn Hills, Boston Lake with their deepest foray into Nyack territory so far tonight. They are at the 29-yard line. They trail by a touchdown with 12 minutes left to go. Layton out of the gun, sends Paluba in motion. He's back to pass. He's got a lot of time. Now he's flushed out. He gets away. He'll throw to the far side. It is caught inside the 10. Burn Hills first down inside the 10. Paluba the catch.
Great poise in the pocket. He was flushed out. Layton, he had an opportunity to run with the football, but he saw Paluba break free, and he laid it in perfectly, made sure he kept the ball inbounds, gave Paluba the opportunity to catch that football. First down and goal. As you see, the senior quarterback, Fide, had an opportunity to get him in the backfield, and you see Tyler Paluba catches it. You see Terrence Fide, number 52, had an opportunity to get the sack. He gets away, Layton straight, and he steps into his throw and makes it first down and goal.
25-yard gain. Layton out of the gun, first and goal from the 4. Back to pass, rolls out right, throws. Almost intercepted dangerously into 4 Nyack defenders. It'll be second down.
Yeah, that was not the play from that particular point on the field. You want to throw the ball all the way across the field. He's trying to go out in the flat there. It looked like... and McLaughlin was the guy, once again, he's had a huge game for Nyack. Almost comes up with his second interception.
Second down and goal. Layton hands it off on the sweep right. Beatty wrestled down at the 6-yard line, a loss of a yard.
They strung that play out once again very, very well, with the exception of that play when Beatty, at the end of the third quarter, where they were able to turn the corner. The guards, Hadcock is out there. He's trying to turn it up, but there's just too much pursuit there. There's too many guys that have to block. Beatty not able to turn it up quick enough. Third down and goal. It's a situation you don't want to think about settling for a field goal. You want to get a touchdown at this point.
I think there's a flag on the play as well, and it's going to go against Burn Hills. holding call against the Spartans. So that will make things a little more difficult, although it will remain second down now.
Well, also what it does...
60. Holding on the white. Still second down.
And what it does is, even though it is second down, it does give them a little bit more room in the passing game if they want to go out and do that. But they're going to have an extra down to play with, but they're going to be at the 13-yard line. And I don't know if we get to fourth down, if they'll decide to go for the field goal. You may not get many more opportunities. So it'll be interesting if it does get to that point. I guarantee you that Burnt Hills would like to score right here and make it all move.
Second down and goal from the 13. Layton fakes the handoff. He'll run. He'll try to get away. Layton, great individual effort to get inside the 10 and tackled at the 7.
Well, that was all him because he was basically out there. That was a naked bootleg play that they ran last week, and they ran for 69 yards in the third quarter against Indian River. And they were not fooled, and he was able to make the initial guy miss. But the pursuit, once again, he had to break 3 tackles, but he gets it inside the 10. Close to the 7-yard line, so it'll be third down and goal from that point.
10:40 left to go. Flint split out wide to the right. Beatty and Vium in the backfield. Handoff Vium. Running right. Turns upfield. Flag is down. Flag is down as Vium is taken out of bounds inside the 5.
Well, it'll be an interesting situation. Now they're going to call a hold. Now, will you take the penalty or not take the penalty? It'll be fourth down and goal, or you decide to push him back again. That's an interesting decision for John Castellano and his coaching staff.
I think they're going to take the penalty.
I think they will too.
Because you're really risking the other team running the ball, going for it on fourth and goal from the 1-yard line.
And they will take the penalty, and I agree. They should take it.
So a couple of big holding calls here against Burnt Hills on this series.
Holding on the white. Still third down.
Third and goal now from the 16. Now, what do you call it out of the offensive playbook here?
Well, I think this is one of the situations where you're going to give Layton the option to run or pass. So I would expect him fake a handoff and then roll out, and he'll give himself an option.
Layton back to pass. Throws the swing pass to Vium. Up the middle to the 15 and brought down to the 10. Now I think you got a good kicker. I think you got to kick it here because it's fourth and goal from the 10.
You're going to be kicking from the right hash, so it's certainly a reasonable distance. It's just a little bit of an angle.
If you miss it, you've got Nyack backed up deep in their own territory.
And if you get it, what it does is the next time you score a touchdown, you'll have the lead guaranteed, no matter what happens on extra point.
Layton, 28-yard field goal attempt. Snap back, hold down, kick is up, it is no good. No good. And Burnt Hills still with the goose egg on the board. They trail 7-0.
And even though there was no yelling or screaming, that is about as much emotion as you'll see out of Layton on a football field. After he kicked the ball, he just fell to the ground. He couldn't believe that he missed it, and he missed it that badly. And that was the angle. It's one of those situations you have to be very cognizant of, kicking from the right hash, as you see here. Watch after he kicks the ball. He knows he just absolutely hook shanked that bad, and he drops to the ground, and he's got to get himself back into the game because he's going to need himself one more opportunity maybe to force overtime if they get the ball back.
Davis up the middle, falls forward to the 25 as Burnt Hills absolutely needs a stop, and they would prefer it quickly here with 9:30 left to go.
And defensively, from about the midway point of the second quarter, you have to give a lot of credit to Burnt Hills. Really, from that point on, it's been their game in terms of yardage. They've moved the ball better. They've done a better job of stopping Davis and what Nichols has tried to do on the option, but they haven't been able to get the score they need.
Davis again. Stopped after a short gain to the 27-yard line, and a colossal.
Ian Schwann has had a big game, and that's another big hit from number 50. As you'll see him come in, Davis tries to cut it back, and there he is. And then also Van Alstyne there as well, a senior linebacker.
A colossal 3rd down and 3 coming up. Schwann leading Burn Hills in tackling tonight. 8:40 left to go. Nichols keeps. Pitches dangerously out of bounds, but it will be 4th down, and Nyack will have to punt again.
Very fortunate there. They've been very a little bit sloppy here from the first quarter on. They've had a couple of plays where they've lost the ball. They've also had a couple of plays where they very nearly lost the ball. That was a very dangerous pitch. He pitched it when he wasn't looking. Leonard, very fortunate that ball goes out of bounds. But once again, Burn Hills gets the stop. They'll get good field position. This is an opportunity for Paluba. If he gets the punt, he's got to catch it in the air and give himself an opportunity to get a good return.
Bad snap. Very poor kick. End over end. That'll take a Burn Hills bounce. Picked up by Paluba at the 35. Paluba 30, 20, 10-5, touchdown! Burn Hills touchdown. A flag is down, as I think that's a very legal play by Paluba to take it in for the score.
Well, I don't know what they could have called on. There was no fair catch called. And that's looks like it's going to come back. And it is.
A flag is down, and this is a potentially game-changing infraction here, as the Nyack player batted the ball forward straight to Paluba, who picked it up and ran in for the end zone.
The ball was not down. I want to hear the explanation of what he's saying.
84. A block in the back. Here.
A block in the back.
Okay, so
block in the back. I think the play was pretty much over. Well, we'll have to take a look at it.
We'll have to see the replay. I didn't see any block in the back, but doesn't mean there wasn't one. Just didn't see it. But there definitely wasn't a fair catch signal. So that was what my thought was initially, was maybe they were going to call that. But there definitely was not that. And it was a heads-up play. Tyler Paluba did the right thing.
First touching. After the touching, we had a block in the back on the white. First down.
So they called him for illegal touching as well. So they called the hold. Here's the play. Paluba did a right job. You see the flag come in. That is the play. That's the call they made from behind the play.
Nonetheless, Burn Hills great field position from the 44. Handoff Vium. Pass room. Up the middle and hogtied to the ground at the 35-yard line.
This is a situation right now, Robert, from Burn Hill's standpoint. They've had so many chances here from the second quarter on. They've got to capitalize on this one. There's still loads of time. Even if they didn't score, I think that they would still have opportunities. But from an emotional standpoint, you've got to take advantage of this. You've got Nyack reeling. You've got to pump it in here.
Second down. Vium, first down. Inside the 30, takes out an official to the 28-yard line as Burn Hills methodically trying to move the ball down the field with 7:22 left to go.
Nyack really, from an offensive standpoint, since the second half started, they've done very, very little. They have not been able to gain anything. Burn Hills has had the opportunities. Burn Hills has had the field position, but they have not gotten the scores they needed.
Vium again. Undercut after a short gain to the 26.
You can see that. I can almost see the inner workings of Paul Layton's mind. He's gone to that belly play 3 times. He's setting up something later that he thinks he can exploit, whether it be on the outside or the inside. And it might be that play that he had the big run on in the second quarter, where he faked the handoff to Vium and then followed him and got the lead block and got about 20 yards.
Second down and 8. Layton keeps. Fumbled the ball again. Fumbled the ball again and recovered it. My goodness, Burn Hills having trouble hanging on to the ball.
I read the play right. That was what he was setting up, and he did a good job of it. They faked the handoff to Vium. He keeps it, and then he loses the football as he's hit from behind.
I believe that's now 3 fumbles they've had that they recovered themselves.
Yes. Kevin Monahan from behind for Nyack, the number 54. He was the guy who punched the ball free from behind. Fortunately for Layton, not only did they recover it, they got close to a first down.
They had a couple that went out of bounds. That one there could have been a backbreaker.
Well,
instead of third down and one.
Just as many problems with the football. They pitched the ball out of bounds twice.
Gotta think the cold hands are factoring into that. 6:20 left to go. Third down and less than a yard. Layton keeps, has the first down, and Layton fights his way forward inside the 15 to the 11.
Sheer effort there. Basically out on his own after he breaks the line of scrimmage. And the senior quarterback picks up the big first down, fakes it to Vium, breaks it to the outside. Looked like they had him bottled up, but he fought his way forward and gets the first down. And they're about the 12-yard line. This is a situation, if you're the Spartans or you're the fan of the Spartans, they've got to cash it in.
They can get a first down without getting a touchdown. 4-down territory. As Vium dives up the middle inside the 10. Nothing fancy here. Smash mouth football by Burn Hills on this drive. With 5.5 minutes left to go, they trail 7-0. Robert Lee, James Allen, Marissa Jacks, our entire Time Warner Cable Sports crew bringing you the action from frigid Kingston. 5:20 left to go. Trip to the Carrier Dome. On the line as Burn Hills looks to tie the game. Second down and 6. Handoff on the sweep right. Turning upfield. Beatty darts forward. Beatty! Touchdown! Touchdown Burn Hills! Great effort by Brandon Beatty at 7-6.
Not only was it a great effort by Brandon Beatty, Robert, but it was a great effort by their offensive line. That play has been blown up time and time again because they weren't able to get everybody accounted for. Beatty showed incredible patience on the run, and then Connor Hadcock and the other offensive linemen turned the corner, engaged their blocks. Beatty followed his blocks very patiently and gets himself into the end zone. Layton will try to get the tie.
This is the biggest play of the game here. The extra point try. Bad snap. Kick is up. And the kick is good with 5:02 left to go. Burn Hills Boston Lake has gotten on the board. They have tied Nyack at 7.
I love to watch the running here. They fake the inside handoff to Vium. You see the blocking, the lead block out. And nice cutback there by Beatty at the 5-yard line. Nyack thought they had it bottled up, and actually Davis is the guy who forced them back inside. You'll see number 20 coming to your picture right now. And he goes right around him. Good blocks at the point of attack and downfield. Beatty gets into the end zone. Layton takes care of business on the extra point, and we are tied. You see Hadcock. Good block. Good pickups all the way around.
Jonathan Acors, number 77, made a nice block.
He's had an outstanding game as well, especially in the second half. Acors and Hadcock get out in front of Beatty. The touchdown run covers 8 yards. Extra point good by Layton. Caps that 10-play, 44-yard drive. We are tied.
The same way Nyack controlled the first half, Burn Hills Boston Lake has controlled the second half. Nyack with just 40 yards this half. Burn Hills Boston Lake with 161, and they will kick it away in a tie game. Layton puts a boot into it from the 40. End over end kick taken by a man on the far side at the 7. Out to the 10, 15, to the 20. Spinning forward to the 40. Taking it to the 45, 50. It's a foot race and taking it all the way for a touchdown. Nyack touchdown. A kickoff return. Looks like Francis Stewart, number 21, takes it the distance.
Well, they had a couple opportunities where they've had runs or they've had returns where they nearly busted one, and they finally did it. He broke about 5 tackles. You see a stun look by Matt Shell and his coaching staff. As you'll see this, he broke at least 4 tackles right there. Great spin move. He bounces off one and he makes Layton miss at the 30-yard line. And from there, Stewart's speed just too much. The backside pursuit doesn't get there. What an emphatic response for Nyack as they go for the extra point and a 7-point lead.
Francis Stewart, first time we've called his name out today. The kick by Pierre-Louis is no good. No good. So the lead is 6 with 4:46 left to go. Nyack 13, Burn Hills 7. Now, if you're Burn Hills, you have just had the ultimate of momentum shifts, but you know that if you score a touchdown and kick the extra point, chances are good you're going to the dome.
Absolutely, but this might be their last drive, and I think they realize that, and they're gathering the offense and they're gathering the special teams right now and say, guys, look, this is your season. It's all come down to this opportunity. You played 11 weeks. Now this is your 12th week of the regular season. You started in mid-August. You lifted throughout the winter. You've got an opportunity here to get to the Carrier Dome, the ultimate opportunity in high school football to play in a state championship game. You're 4 minutes and 46 seconds and 7 points away from that opportunity.
Special thanks go out to Joe Altieri from the State Association, John Ford of Deet Stadium, Tim Barney and Rich Haddard of Time Warner Cable Kingston for their help in getting this broadcast on the air. Francis Stewart, a long 90-plus yard kickoff return, has given Nyack the lead 13-7. Pierre-Louis the kick from the 40. And it'll go out of bounds. So good field position coming up here for Burn Hills. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, can only hope tomorrow's game is half as exciting as today's. The penalties coming up here. Hudson Falls and Rye, the Class B semifinal in New York State. Saturday, November the 22nd, tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock start. Hudson Falls takes on the Garnets of Rye.
Free kick out of bounds here is declined.
35-yard line. Burn Hills, Ballston Lake with 4 minutes, 46 seconds left to go on a frigid night in Kingston, New York at Deet Stadium. 65 yards away from a possible trip to the Carrier Dome. Layton keeps it himself and dives forward for a gain of 3.
You're going to see the football in Paul Layton's hands a lot more right now, and it's not just because the senior wants to get most of the carries. I think he realizes that he's found a home for that running play on the inside. He tried to run to the outside in the first half. It was not effective because the defensive ends, Mancini and Fede, took that away. He's running more effectively on the inside.
Sweep right, Beatty. Good blocking. Beatty cuts upfield to the 45 as a first down to the 48-yard line.
That stretch play is working very, very well. They get the A-Cores out in space and lead blocking. Hadcock as well. As you see the fake there inside of Vium. And Beatty turns the corner and you see A-Cores out in front. Good blocking downfield also with Zach Morton, the tight end. First down pickup near midfield. Burn Hills in business.
From the 48-yard line, Burn Hills in the white jerseys. Handoff. Beatty running right and not finding much this time as he's brought down in midfield with 3:40 left to go.
Running short side of the field. Usually you don't see sweep plays go to the short side, but they try to turn it up, hope to catch the Indians defense a little bit of a situation where they're not expecting it. And they'll get to midfield, 2nd down and 8. And don't be surprised at some point here, as they've established that run, you see Layton go up top. They like to go throw to Keaton Flint in these opportunities. He's got one-on-one coverage on the outside.
Play action left. Layton feels the pressure, gets away. Layton turns the corner, backhanded flip out of bounds. An incomplete pass with 3:03 left. It's 3rd down.
They try to throw to Jacob Myers. The officials will take care of Layton's shoulder pad. But they were trying to go up top. Keaton Flint was the receiver. They were trying to go down the field. They were trying to roll Layton out. But he didn't have enough time to set his feet and throw that ball far down the field. He tried the Brett Favre-like overhand shuffle pass. And actually, instead of losing a couple of yards, he gets an incompletion, and it'll be 3rd down and 8 from midfield and almost 4-down territory with 3 minutes to go. I don't know if you want to punt. Your defense has done a good job, but you have to use up pretty much all your timeouts if you did punt the ball from here.
Both teams with 3 timeouts remaining. Fake the handoff. Layton stands in. He's flushed out to the right. He's going to run. Layton gets away from the 45 and brought down. He has got a first down at the 41-yard line.
I don't know if he has a first down. He's at the 40. They're going to mark it at the 42. That's going to be a measurement, Robert. I think it's going to be close, and they are going to measure. It depended on where the spot was, and they spotted him about the 42. The backside pursuit almost got there. That was Matt Mancini. He was able to make the hit, and then also you see Brennan Johnson come in and ultimately make the tackle. This is, I believe, if they don't get it, they go for it. But I think it's going to be very, very close. They might, if they have it, it's only going to be by about a very quarter of the football, if that. And you called it, my friend. Quarter of the football, exactly. First down, Paul Layton. Flush out of the pocket. Comes up with the goods when they need them.
So the clock will start once they put the ball into play. 2:53 left to go. Burn Hills trails Nyack from Section 1, 13-7. A touchdown and an extra point puts Burn Hills ahead. Layton out of the shotgun on 1st and 10. Takes the snap. Throws near side. Incomplete.
Wasn't able to step into that throw once again. A little bit short. See Layton coming over to get some instructions from head coach Matt Shell. What an ending to what started out as a very unlike normal Burn Hills performance, but the second half they stepped it up. They just haven't been able to get the points, but they played better from about midway through the second quarter on.
Layton back to pass, throws the inside screen, caught at the 40, and submarine to the 37-yard line. A gain of about 5 will set up a third down as the clock runs with 2:35 left to go.
Sophomore, the leading receiver for the Spartans. Nice job of fighting free. They set that up well. A little bit of a fake. They looked like they were going to go to the outside, but they're trying to draw the defense up the field. As you see Layton, he just was able to throw a little bit behind. Otherwise, Flint might have had a little bit more room and momentum to go forward, but he picks up good yardage, third down and 5.
3 receivers to the left. 1 to the right. Coming up on 2 minutes left to go. Layton back to pass. Throws far side. Caught. And going backwards. And now fighting forwards. I believe a first down.
It's going to be close again. They might have to measure that one as well. McLaughlin on the coverage. And you absolutely called it correctly, Robert. That was very, very close. They're going to give him the first down.
Keaton Flint does pick up the first down at the 31.5-yard line.
As you see the pass, he tries to tuck his shoulder in, and you see that extra fight, and his knee didn't go down. That's a good call. They were right on top of that. He did get his knee, was not scraping the ground, forward, and gets the first down.
Layton will run it to the 30, 25, and has another Burn Hills first down to the 20-yard line with 1:45 left to go.
This is all you can ask for in a state semifinal game, regardless of who wins this contest. These teams have answered the call on both sides of the football. There's been a little sloppy play in certain regards, but both teams are making some spectacular plays.
18 carries, 92 yards now for Paul Layton. Needs 20 more yards one way or another to try to win the game. He takes the snap. He throws far side. It is caught inside the 15, inside the 10, out of bounds at the 8. What a finish here with 1:23 left to go.
You just love the poise. Paul Layton has not had his best night by his own admission if we asked him. But when he's needed to come up with the response and the plays that he's and his team needs, he's been able to do it. He's showed the poise in the pocket. And he makes another big throw and sets up a 1st and goal situation inside of 1:30 at 1:23.
Layton out of the gun. Takes the snap, runs up the middle, cuts to his left, to the 5. Layton cutting forward. Touchdown! Touchdown, Burn Hills, with 1:15 left to go.
Wow, what a run by the senior. That was all him. He got great blocking at the point of attack, and it gave him an opportunity to cut it to the outside, and then he muscled his way into the end zone, but we are only tied. Now he's got to collect himself. As you see, he's going to tie his shoes before he lines up to kick this all-important extra point. If they get this point, they could be 1 minute and 15 seconds away from their first ever trip to this Carrier Dome, but they still have to stop Nyack from scoring.
And Nyack jumps off sides, which will move the ball about a yard closer now.
It won't make any difference. That won't induce Matt Shell to go for 2 points. They got to get this 1 point. They're offsides. Nyack. So move the ball closer. That won't change the decision process. Some coaches might, in this situation, with the ball at the 1, would decide to go for the 2-point conversion. There's no need to do it at this point. Kick the ball with a great kicker in Paul Layton.
Encroachment here is declined. Hold on. Okay.
Philip Newman is the holder. Paul Layton is the kicker. The extra point to give Burnhill's Boston Lake the lead. Snap is back, a good one. Hold us down, kick us out, and it is good with 1:15 left to go. This Spartans crowd is going wild. They have taken a 14-13 lead.
Well, it started off that drive with Nyack kicking the ball out of bounds to give them good field position. And from that point, Paul Layton has done a spectacular job. What a response. His stats in the first half, 4 of 8, 41 yards, 1 interception. Look at what he's done in the second half. He's thrown for 68 yards. More importantly, his rushing totals, what I expected to rise in the second half, he's run a lot more effectively in the inside, making great decisions. As you see there, he cuts it to the outside, and that's just a great decision on his part, and he fights his way into the end zone for the touchdown. One more look. He breaks to the outside. Beatty gives him a block there. He fights through Davis. He fights through everybody. 3 guys hit him by the time he gets to the 3-yard line. It doesn't make any difference. The senior powers his way into the end zone for the biggest touchdown of his career.
Now, the last time Nyack returned a kick, they took it all the way for a touchdown. Francis Stewart is back at the 10. Antoine McLaughlin at the 5. Kick is away, end over end. Taken by an up-back Brandon Johnson. Cuts forward to the 25 and is stopped there. And now Nyack, a team that has completed exactly
15 passes on the season.
And no passes tonight, has 1 minute and 9 seconds to try to drive for a game-winning field goal or touchdown.
As much as we can talk about that, and they don't have the passing game, they've been behind the last 2 weeks, and they've rallied in the last few minutes. So you cannot underestimate that Nyack, even without a passing game, still can't bust a long run. You still have Anthony Davis, and he's still done a lot of damage tonight.
1:09 left to go. 1st and 10 from the 25. Handoff. And hit hard and dropped.
Chris Van Alstyne right up the middle. The senior linebacker says,
Jerry Wisdom Coffee on the carry, and Nyack is forced to call a timeout.
The guy they affectionately call a Lion says, you are not going to run on us. Not at this point in the game. And they have stuffed that run on the inside pretty much from the first quarter on. The Indians kind of gashed Burn Hills early on with Anthony Davis, who had 100 yards in the first half. They were able to stretch him out a little bit, but since then it's been all Burn Hills defense.
One of these 2 teams in 1 minute will head to the Carrier Dome next Saturday, 5 o'clock. 1-888 Dome Ticks to pick up your tickets. The Class A Championship, 5 o'clock, one of 5 state finals next weekend in Syracuse. Just $10 a day at the Dome in Central New York. The winner of this game, in all likelihood, will meet Sweet Home from Section 6 for the state championship in Class A next Saturday. Last check, Sweet Home is winning 35-0. 1 minute left to go. Nyack with the ball. 2nd down and 10. Nichols back to pass. He'll throw. It is caught at past the 45-yard line on Nyack. 1st down.
McLaughlin pulls in the reception near midfield. Just when you think that, hey, there's no passing, it wasn't a great pass, but it was on the money, and his completed pass.
First completed pass of the entire game. Takes him out to the 48-yard line, a 23-yard gain. Nyack has life here with 52 seconds left to go. What a finish from Kingston. Fakes the handoff. Nichols. He is sacked. He is sacked at the 41-yard line.
Connor Hadcock, the junior linebacker. His second sack of the night. Right up the middle.
And another timeout, Nyack.
And you saw that Morton was coming in on the rush. He saw him coming and wasn't able to fight free from the junior. Second timeout taken by the Indians, and they are now back at the 41-yard line. 42 seconds to go. For those who do not know about Nyack and their comebacks, they were down in the Section 1 Super Bowl against Ossining. 4th and 1 from the 19 they went for it. They got it. Last week, they gave up a 4th, and they did not get a 4th and 1. And they were in a situation where Cornwall could have beat them. They held on in that one. This time, they're going to have to come back from behind once again if they hope to get to the Carrier Dome.
Send a quick shout out to our entire Time Warner Sports crew. Steve Alifano on engineering. Chris Graff, our man on audio. Scott Nadler, our A2 cameraman and woman. Brendan Slater, Pete Dudley, Artie Smallwood, Penny Kula, Sean Hillebo, Andy Gabriels, and Tim Peters, our grips, the rough man on stats. Joe Umholtz, our red cap, Mike Tyson, head end master control. We'll finish that thought in a moment. Second down and long. Nichols setting up the screen, throws it complete at the 35. Wisdom Coffee to the 45-50, and Wisdom Coffee brought down at the 46-yard line. And another timeout called by Nyack. Our video man is Joe Walsh. Chris Cook is our instant replay director. George Fellows on graphics. Brett Kula, our season-long director. And our producer, Greg Bobbitt. Our entire Time Warner Cable Sports crew doing such a tremendous job this year, bringing you all the action. Culminated with our second-to-last game. There is still another game tomorrow, but this game has been unmatched this season in excitement.
No doubt about it. 26 seconds to go. That is the final timeout taken by Nyack. They don't have any more, so they have to either make an unbelievable run. They would have to either get out of bounds or get to the end zone, or they're going to have to hustle quickly. So that really pretty much negates any running. So it kind of forces them to throw the football. They've completed 2 so far. That's only 16 and 17 on the season. And this is a great opportunity for the defense to make one big stop if they can get it here. 2 more plays, potentially, between them and the Carrier Dome.
Third down and 4 from the 46-yard line. Nyack in the black jerseys. Confusion on the play, a broken play. Nichols throws, has a man at the 35, out of bounds at the 28-yard line. What a play by Nichols.
That was a great improvisational play because that play was completely messed up. He sent a man in motion. He tried to hand it off to him. He didn't know where to go with the football. Burn Hills looked like they had him. Look at that. He breaks away. Hancock gets away from Hancock, throws a wobbly pass out to Johnson, and he picks up a first down. Everything you could possibly ask for went wrong in that play, except for they got a first down.
First and 10 from the 27, 18 seconds left to go. Wisdom Coffee in motion. Nichols back to pass, pressure's on. He is sacked. He fumbles the ball. He fumbled it. It's recovered by Burnt Hills. They're going to the Dome.
Morton forced the fumble. He might have been the guy that recovered it. Regardless, whoever recovered it, it might have been Ian Schwan, but we'll get a good look at the replay. More importantly, what a response in the second half for the Burnt Hills Boston Lake Spartans. They are 10 seconds away and 1 kneel down from getting to the state Class A Super Bowl. As you see they are flushed out. Actually, it was Jacob Myers that recovered it. The junior defensive end, Myers and Morton get it done. And we're going to get unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. They're going to mark it off 15 yards against Nyack. And the opponent potentially 10 seconds away. The opponent will be Sweet Home. They won 48-0, the number 1 team in the state, showing why they moved from number 5 or number 6 to number 1.
And a timeout is called by Burn Hills Ballston Lake.
And he just wants to make sure Matt Shell say, hey, guys, let's just take a knee. Let's make sure we do everything we need to do here. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to run a play. Talking about keeping their composure. Don't get pulled in anything here after the whistle's blown, and you're 10 seconds away from the first ever state championship appearance and a great response in the second half by a team that, quite frankly, first half didn't get it done. They did not play well. Paul Layton did not look like the Paul Layton we've seen throughout his career, and he responded in a big way in the second half. Matt Shell said they had to make some adjustments. They did. Paul Layton not only led them on the big drive, scored the touchdown, he kicked the all-important extra point. The defense came through as they have all year long. 10 seconds away from an opportunity of a lifetime to play in the Carrier Dome. And look at the look on Matt Shell's face. That says it all.
One kneel down will do it. Layton under center. He takes the snap and takes a knee. And next Saturday at 5 o'clock, the Burn Hills Ballston Lake Spartans will play for the state championship in Syracuse. 14-13 the final score. They rally to beat Nyack in an absolute thriller here at Dietz Stadium in Kingston.
Well, I made a prediction. I said 20-19. I was wrong. It was 14-13, but it wound up being exactly the kind of game I thought it would be. Back and forth, momentum. Clearly in the first half, all Nyack. Second half, it went in favor of Burn Hills, and it started with their defense. They were put in a difficult situation after turning the ball over on the first drive of the second half, just like they turned it over on the first drive of the first half. But they responded like champions do, and that's the reason why they are moving on.
Our high school football kickoff show. Play and player of the game, Paul Layton's 7-yard touchdown run to win the game for Burn Hills.
Cuts it back there. Great effort in the second half. Great effort all year long by Paul Layton. Cuts it inside, fights through a tackling attempt by Leonard and gets it into the end zone. If you see another view of that play, and then he adds the all-important extra point. The difference between tie ball game, possible overtime, and state championship berth.
Thanks to Terry Morris, Chrysler Jeep and Ford Mercury. Our Terry Morris play of the game. 14-13, Burn Hills rallies to beat Nyack in a thriller. Back with our post-game show brought to you by Curtis Lumber after this on Time Warner Cable Sports. Spectacular game here in Kingston. Final score, Burn Hills Ballston Lake 14, Nyack 13. Tonight's post-game report is brought to you by Curtis Lumber, New York's premier building supply and home improvement marketplace. We're going to go down to the field and listen in on the awards ceremony.
Coach Castellano, would like to award you the semi-finalist plaque. Coach, congratulations on a great season. Congratulations to your kids. Gary Vanderjee, the Section 1 rep, will award the outstanding defensive player. Section 2. Outstanding defense player tonight for Burn Hills, and made a number of tackles. Number 56, Connor Hadcock.
Connor Hadcock picks up the Outstanding Defensive Player Award. Now they'll give out the...
Outstanding offense tonight for the Spartans. Not a real surprise. He was running, he was passing, he was kicking all over the place. Number 15, quarterback Paul Layton.
Paul Layton picks up the Outstanding Offensive Player Award. No surprise there, as he had the game-winning touchdown.
And it's good to see that the two leaders of the two respective units for Burn Hills pick up the MVP awards for their respective teams. Connor Hadcock, 2 sacks. Paul Layton's outstanding second half is the reason why the Spartans are here.
Now Coach Matt Shell.
Coach, we don't have a plaque for you, but we do have all your information you're going to need for Syracuse.
So no plaque.
That's okay.
Just directions to the Carrier Dome. Hey, take the Thruway West. Get out at 690 and look for the big bubble.
And Chris Van Alstyne, number 57, he had a huge effort. You see the athletic director, Bob McGuire, patting Matt Shell on the back, and he gathers his players to celebrate a big victory.
14-13, the final score. Burn Hills Boston Lake shut out through the first 3 quarters of the game, rallies to score the tying touchdown midway through, relatively late in the 4th quarter, only to see Nyack return the kick all the way for a touchdown to take the lead. Nyack missed the extra point. We'll get to that in the highlights. Robert Lee, James Allen, back with you. Let's go down to the field and Marissa Jacks.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Matt Shell, the head coach of Burn Hills. Coach, what does it feel like now to be going to the Dome?
Yeah, it's good. I don't know. It's tough to explain. Obviously we're real excited and just real happy for these kids, just more so than anybody else. They've been working real hard all year, and a game like this was just an outstanding football game by both teams. Both teams played extremely hard, and our kids made some big time plays when it really counted, and just real pleased for the kids. Just a great job by them.
Coach, what does it say about the character of your team to come back? You were down 7-0, come back and score twice. You guys hadn't scored at all, but you did it twice in the 4th quarter.
No, we found a few things that were working, and we got some momentum. We scored, get all the momentum in the world in the kickoff return, but that's why, they're Nyack's an outstanding football team, because they made a big play in a big situation. But our kids have huge hearts, and they came right back down the field and just kind of took a few plays, and, the big guy over here made some big plays at the end, and we had some young kids step up. Brandon Beatty's a sophomore, and stepped up and made some big-time runs, and our line kind of figured some things out and just did a great job, and can't say enough about our defense. They were outstanding.
All right, Coach, let's bring in the big guy you're talking about, Paul Layton. Paul, offensive player of the game. You guys are headed to the Dome. This is your senior year. What a way to go out.
It's just a great feeling. I can't even describe how I feel right now. It honestly feels like I'm dreaming. Like, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just real happy for everyone. I'm happy for all the seniors and all the guys who put in the hard work this summer.
Talk about this senior group. You guys are a really tight-knit group. You guys have won a couple of Super Bowls together, but to get here is something totally new, and it's really a special moment. I saw you giving one of your fellow seniors a hug out there. This is really a special moment for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, our senior group is so tight. We do everything together, and when we won the section this year, it felt good, but we knew it was just a small step in the journey we wanted to take. We had a meeting with the team about halfway through the season. We set our goal. We wanted to make it to the Dome, and we achieved that goal, and hopefully we can take the next step and win it. We all got shirts that said "not satisfied" on them, and that just describes our team. Right now we're not satisfied. We want to win next week.
Paul, what did Coach say to you guys at the half in the locker room? Because you came out offensively like a different unit.
I'll be the first to admit we got dominated in the first half, but Coach said we took their best shot, and we did. I think we did, and we came out real hard in the second half, and I think we started to dominate the second half, and we picked up the momentum and finally took the lead at the end of the game.
And lastly, Paul, a ton of community support, a ton of fans. How does it feel to hear those guys screaming at the end of the game when you guys got the win?
It's just awesome. I mean, everyone in the stands won the game for us. They were huge the entire game, even when things were down, and I love all of them. Gotta thank them so much.
Senior quarterback Paul Layton, congratulations, guys. Let's send it back up to you.
Marissa, thanks. And Paul Layton and Matt Shell, a job well done as Burnt Hills Boston Lake wins it 14-13. Take a look at our all the best highlights, and it was a wild and woolly, particularly fourth quarter.
Well, all the best highlights, I think, describe the second half because both sides produce a lot of them. Obviously, Burnt Hills a little bit more at the end. They started off the second half with the football, and they were driving. It looked like, they were going to make some things happen. But unfortunately for them, they forced a fumble on Eric Vium, recovered by Antoine McLaughlin, and it looked like, a little bit more of what happened in the first half. Nyack gets the ball, and Anthony Davis picks up 16 yards. But that drive wound up ultimately not paying off, and then Paul Layton started to find the range. This one, Tyler Paluba, a 25-yard pass. They got it inside the 4, but then on a fourth and long situation, they decided to go for the field goal, 28-yard miss by Layton, so it still remains 7-0. They got the ball back again this time. How about Brandon Beatty following his blocks well, 8-yard touchdown run. The extra point by Layton tied it up. Well, Nyack wasn't just quite done yet. How about Francis Stewart? 94 yards right up the middle, breaks it to the sideline. Touchdown, Indians. 13-7 in favor of the Section 1 champion Nyack Indians. The extra point, however, was missed, so that gave an opportunity for Burnt Hills. Late in the fourth quarter, Paul Layton on a 2nd and goal. How about a 7-yard touchdown run? And then number 15 lines up right down the middle with 1:15 to go. We are 14-13 in favor of the Spartans. Raymond Nichols now, late in the fourth quarter, he gets sacked by Connor Hadcock, the defensive player of the game for Burnt Hills with his 2nd sack of the night. And then, once again, Morton forces the sack. Jacob Myers, the other junior defensive end, gets the fumble recovery, and that is how it ends. Burnt Hills is on to the Carrier Dome.
Burnt Hills finishes with a 300 to 235-yard advantage. Nyack just 85 yards in the second half. 18 first downs to 12. Each side turned it over twice. You see Layton 109 through the air, 99 on the ground. Just a terrific game here on the Time Warner Cable Sports High School Football Game of the Week. Burnt Hills wins it 14-13. That's going to do it. But don't forget, tomorrow, Hudson Falls takes on Rye. 4 o'clock start. Joe Calderon, James Allen, Rodney Smith will be here, along with our entire Time Warner Cable Sports crew to bring you all the action. A reminder, Burnt Hills Boston Lake now moves on to take on the #1 team in the state, Sweet Home out of Section 6, next Saturday at the Dome in Syracuse. 5 o'clock start. If you're from Burnt Hills Boston Lake, you'll probably want to make it out there. We put the number up earlier, 888-DOME-TICKS, to pick up your tickets to go to the Dome. For James Allen, Marissa Jackson, our entire Time Warner Cable Sports crew, my name is Robert Lee. Been a pleasure being with you all season long here on our high school football coverage. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Time Warner Cable Sports.